I'll mute my.
I forgot to cue up the music, so y'all get the full 12-inch mix of it today. Enjoy. Happy Saturday. It is Saturday, I hope. Yes, it is. Whew. Okay. Welcome. We have Chris, who is in recovery. Let's wish him well. Do your voodoo. Get your chickens out. Whatever else helps. In the Cajun tradition, we have the traitus, the old folk healers. So if I knew some of that, I would do it on you. And we have Busker here.
How's it going?
Plays Cajun music. We were talking accordions.
Cajuns. Yeah, and I'm like, I knew you lived outside of Eunice, but I didn't realize you were actually related to Cajuns, and that's pretty wild. Small world, man.
We came down from Nova Scotia. We were exiled. Like
that's
we were
right.
Some of the original settlers.
That's
Opelousas is the town that a lot of my family settled. We were some of the first families, like the first settlers of that town. Hey, Joe. Welcome.
Yeah, I've heard of Opelousas, and yeah, that's kind of southwest Louisiana too. Yeah, pretty wild. Small world, man.
Yeah, or big, small or big, depending on how you look at it. The U.S. is way more diverse than people that grow up in most of the U.S., I think, realize.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's not every day you come across occasion, I gotta say. Like, outside of Louisiana.
No, not up here, for sure. I'm the only one I know for the last 15 years.
Yeah, I'm the only Cajun accordion player in Maryland, as far as I know of. I mean, I went to a lot of the jams, like the jams from Silver Spring, and there were no Cajuns, and they didn't know how to play their instruments that well. And I'm like, well, you know, I was young when I was in there, and these guys were older than me, so it's hard to learn instruments when you're older. I can tell that for sure.
Like language, it's harder to pick up as.
Yeah, and I was constantly, people were nagging me to learn Cajun French, and I never did. So now that I'm 44 and my brain is just kind of out in space because of MS, I just don't have the patience, or, you know.
Do you play the lyric? Do you use the lyrics?
No, but I know. Do you know that song "J'ai passé devant ta porte"?
No, I mean I might know if I heard it.
Devant ta porte, j'ai prié, Baba ma la belle. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, that's one. That's like
copyrighted for that.
That's no.
That's the song of my people. YouTube, leave us alone.
Yeah, that's that. Well, a lot of Cajuns and outsiders call that the Cajun national anthem, but I think more so.
Oh, Jolie Blanc is the one I know.
Yeah, exactly. That's more the Cajun national anthem in a way, because. But I think for a while, J'ai Passé was.
There's the Mardi Gras song.
Yeah, Mardi Gras song.
Oh, the Mardi Gras. Capitan. You have he played us some the other day. He came on for was it St. Patrick's? And played some Cajun.
Might have been. I got yeah, I don't know if you'd recognize the melody for J'ai Passé. It goes let me see.
Is it a waltz or a
Yeah, it's a waltz. It goes
J'ai passé. Hey, Moose. What happened, John? We're getting started with some Cajun aerobics.
Yeah, that's J'ai Passé. It's a waltz. Yeah.
From Busker. Oh, that was so nice. Thank you.
Cheers.
Oh.
It feels like I'm busking.
It takes me home. I know. I should once we get monetized, I can actually send you some tips.
Cheers, man. I you know what? I should have called my buy me a coffee, Be More Busker rather than Baltimore Busker, because I think it's probably going to confuse people if they know me as Be More Busker. I don't know, but I'm not.
You prefer Baltimore Busker?
Well, I thought it would be easier for people to remember because Be More, people might think it's BE more, like being more.
Oh, be more.
That's why I sent you a message like the B is for Baltimore, or Be More is for Baltimore.
I
And
think Busker is kind of what you're known as, just Busker.
yeah, and Busker, of course, and a lot of people didn't know what that word was, and I didn't know what it was until I started street performing, and people like, "You're a busker." I'm like, "What? What's a busker?"
What would you call me?
At first, I thought said a buster. I'm like, "What? I'm not busting my loot any. What? What do you? What? A buster?" Yeah, I'm busting my load of music, but that's about it.
Well, Joe, it depends. There's two Mardi Gras. There's the New Orleans Mardi Gras and there's the Cajun Mardi Gras. They're both definitely worth attending. Well, I don't know. Like if you're extremely introverted and don't like loud noise and drunk people and crowds and that type of stuff, it may not be. It can be painful and nightmarish for those types. But for most people, I think it's worth attending. But if you do New Orleans, it can be very chaotic and crowded to do actual Mardi Gras day. So if you're not quite up to it, or you're not quite sure, and you just want to taste, go the week before, the weekend before. You're gonna get all the parades, all the Mardi Gras fanfanas, everything, and the you're gonna get all of the experience except for actual Mardi Gras day, which is not that different. It's just more parades, more people, that kind of stuff. And so if you do go, consider going the weekend before, like the weekend to a few days before the actual Fat Tuesday.
Yeah, because they pretty much are celebrating all week until the day of Mardi Gras, and then maybe some after, but maybe not so much. But it's kind of like St. Patty's. It's like all week long. I was playing music for that in a band, and we played every single night, like fucking 6 hours, dude. That was wretched. And
Is Pogo Patrol Agent Snafu? Oh, okay, Cynthia. Oh, I just announced it on Twitter, so I guess they'll have to adjust. This happens with our type. Well, that's good though. Spend time with your son. I'm glad you're getting to do that. Yeah, totally. Cynthia, what she's talking about is she went thrifting. We were supposed to do it on camera Friday. We're gonna do it one day soon. They're gonna go to Thrift Row in Dallas, but she went thrifting Friday and she got this amazing haul that she wants us to see. That she said we're gonna be really impressed by, and she was gonna show it off today. But we'll have to do it another day. Well, we're here every day, 7 days a week. So whichever day you want to do it, just hop on, and we'll make some room for it. So, but enjoy your son, enjoy your weekend, and good to see you. All right. Well, I was checking this Pogo person. Escape the comfort. Well, Paul Dark Moose Rising. I do see there's a video with Paul Enslaved on it, so but I mean thank you for subscribing if you're sincerely an audience member.
Sorry if you hear the fan in this computer. Everybody hears it.
I used to there were some older gays that they go antiquing. Oh my god, that was my version of painful and nightmarish and hell.
What was that again?
Antiquing, where they go to like all the antique stores and just
yeah. Oh,
I think it's a combination of being dragged shopping when I was a kid by my mom to all the little clothing boutiques, and it was so fucking boring for me.
Oh, I remember.
And that my grandmother collected. She didn't throw anything away ever, so she had this all these old things. Like she could have opened up a chain of antique shops just herself. So antiquing is just a combination of like
Was
everything
was
that I
she
don't
like a
like about my
collector? Was she just a collector or a hoarder?
um I
My grandmother was a
plead the
hoarder.
fifth on that one. I'd have to. I,
Well, like here's the difference that I know of. Like at least from my grandmother, she would keep all these newspapers from all the way back in like since the 50s, and she kept keeping them in this garage that my grandfather had, and she just piled them up in there, and like that's called hoarding, to my mind.
she has every TV guide, ever like the little TV guides that you get every week.
Yeah, she had a
Every one
bunch
of
of
those.
those. Fucking oh my
Yes,
god!
my uncle collected Playboy magazines. They have every issue of Playboy.
I didn't say any
Year
of
he
that,
started
Nick.
collecting.
Yeah, man. That's kind of that's collecting, I guess.
Well, we can call it collecting. Oh, it we talk to me in private. I think it's the life thing. I want to respect, have some kind of like sense of family,
Amen.
pride or shame, healthy shame.
Yeah.
The articles. Oh, in the I like the articles too. Actually, that's all I would read them for. I didn't get anything out of the pictures.
At least it
But
was.
they had a ton of magazines because they subscribed to magazines, and so they
Oh
had
yeah,
like
yeah.
Good Housekeeping and Southern Living or Southern Comfort, like just constantly, and they wouldn't throw any of them away, so they would just accumulate in stacks in rooms throughout the house.
That is kind of hoarding in a way, a little bit.
Yeah,
Unless you're like if you like collecting like some popular magazine like National Geographic, that's not really
Oh,
hoarding.
that one too. Yeah, National Geographic, and they would get they put out these annual books. I think they were hardback every year. National Geographic would put out like some fancy extra annual edition. I think she had all those.
Yeah, there was piles and piles of National Geographic. I wonder what happened to all those. I wonder if they just threw them all out when they emptied out their house.
That was such a nice like so well done. The visual, the production quality, the photography.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Even as a kid, I didn't bother reading many of the articles, but just
Me neither.
visual.
Yeah, it's the visual. I'd look at the pictures, and they were so good. Like they were very professional, and yeah, Nat Geo. And I'd watch the National Geographic Channel once it came out.
Oh yeah, yeah. Chris is here. He's not feeling well, so he's kind of just chilling in the background. To the good articles. Well, hopefully you got a healthy male perspective from somewhere. It seems like you did. Oh, speaking of healthy perspective, I had this video I wanted to play. It's from Ben Shapiro, who I don't really know Ben or follow Ben, so I don't have any particular opinion on Ben. He seems kind of spurgy to me.
Yeah,
but it's in relation to conspirators. I was thinking about the conversations that happen on here a lot, so I wanted to share this.
Okay.
Hang on, I gotta change my settings.
He's got a.
Oh, is it his voice?
Yeah. That's funny.
All right, here I go.
You blame society, you don't have an answer. So it must be a conspiracy. It must be some sort, and you're just asking. You blame society, you don't have an answer. It must be a conspiracy. It must be some sort, and you're just asking questions. You don't know. Right? This is the game that is played by so many corrupt commentators. Just asking questions. I don't have to show you evidence that something terrible is happening. I don't have to actually demonstrate how the thing is happening. I don't have to tell you who the problem is. Wink, wink. But I can just tell you right now that there is a problem. But even and if I'm asked about it, hey, I'm just asking questions. Now, let me tell you something about just asking questions for a second. Just asking questions is a game for children. My son is 7. He can just ask questions. My daughter is 10. She can just ask questions. If you are 50 and you are just asking questions, I don't think you're just asking questions. I think that your level of curiosity is actually quite low. I think that you don't care enough to know or know enough to care. I think that the vast majority of people who are in the just asking questions business have an answer that they want to suggest, but they know there's no evidence for it. So instead, they hide behind just asking questions. In other words, they're completely full of
dude. That's kind of that he's exaggerating hardcore, because when something goes down and there's questions that need to be asked, people who ask questions are not conspiratards. Like,
well, I think that's a different set of question askers than what he's talking about. It's more the kind you encounter, and it's a rhetorical question asking with kind of a motive behind it, like he said. I do like his hair a lot. His Ken doll.
yeah,
His hair and makeup team is
he's a fancy boy.
Looks like. Maybe I could land at the Daily Wire one of these days.
There you go.
Get some nice hair like that. But yeah, that certainly was not intended to imply that applies to anybody on this stream at all, ever, or in the audience. But I did just want to throw it out there.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, exactly. I mean, it was his take, like, whatever it was. But yeah, he's not. He probably didn't ask a damn question about anything that turned out to be what the conspiracitards thought. Like now.
I unironically support Israel too. Yeah, but it's also like the thing he said about it's in place of evidence. It's in place of showing you the proof that the thing is happening. It's in place of telling you who is doing. That's one thing that comes up a lot with me is who is this they, who.
Yeah, you definitely need if not a whole bunch of evidence, like a whole bunch of people who are asking the same question.
People believe things for reasons, and we don't always believe true things, and I don't think we always even have to believe true things or should be expected to, but it's the reasons people believe things that interest me. And so that's the questions I ask. And when I start asking those questions, that's when things start making less and less sense because of the lack of evidence behind it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have some kind of evidence, but like, I don't know, man. When you see enough people talking about something, you got to wonder. That's where I'm at.
But I've seen enough stupid people be wrong before. And Alex Jones is not evidence.
Well, fuck Alex Jones. He's just like, I think he's just like a plant is what he is. He's the reason that everybody got it fucked over on YouTube. He was the one that got the ball rolling.
What happened on YouTube?
He was banished from YouTube, and then everybody, like people who were talking about kind of the same things or adjacent, were starting to get kicked off. So after that, everybody started getting kicked off.
Oh, like misinformation?
Yeah, well, like whatever it was, like it's just like YouTube just kind of that was the time that it started. It was right after Jones got kicked off. So I'm wondering if he was like a plant or something. I don't know. That's just a theory.
Well,
to make everybody
I don't have a problem with conspiracy theories that can acknowledge they're just theories or just hypotheses and don't expect
or questions.
Some of them get so outraged when you don't sign on to their reality, like they're trying to wake you up to this thing that's really happening, and you're not waking up to it, and then they get aggravated.
Yeah, I've seen, like, especially with like things like flat Earth. I mean, like I've seen a lot of flat Earth burgers. So yeah, I don't know, I'm not gonna say what it is or not, but I think it's a globe.
It's an oblate spheroid.
There you go. I mean, I know a lot of people get offended when when other people just don't accept that it's not flat. Like and there's a wall near Antarctica, an ice wall. I mean, come on. It sounds like what was that TV show? Game of Thrones.
Oh, I didn't see it.
It was this ice wall.
Who's AJ?
Alex Jones.
Oh, okay. He's always seemed like a caricature to me because I know him from the Richard Linklater movies, Waking Life. He was in, I think, and even in there, he was a caricature.
Real, I didn't even know he was in a movie. It was just kind of a.
It's just like a cameo.
Yeah.
But he was like this rant. He was ranting out of a megaphone. He was like driving a car around Austin, ranting out of a megaphone about how fucked up the world was and all the conspiracies going on behind the scenes. I mean, he looked outrageous and cartoonish even back then. I mean, it was a cartoon. It was they animated.
Oh shit!
A donut? The donut earthers? Oh Lord, help me! Are there really donut earthers out there? Hey, Lanza.
God, no!
Hi.
No. See, I can't sign on to that. Shit.
As far as I know, Donut Earth was a joke that I started.
It wouldn't be. There'd be nothing left if the Earth was a donut. There'd be nothing left.
Yeah, I started joking that Donut Earth was the real reality like a while back. I guess before catching on to it. I don't know.
I did when I was little. I did think that you could go to China, like dig a hole through the earth and go to China on the other side.
I just thought yesterday that you could have a toilet that's connected to the opposite side of the globe on a different toilet, like Russia to
like two
Australia or
toilets.
Yeah, because you spin, like it'll just become like it just you can't. Once it's gone, it's gone. You don't have to worry about it.
Well,
There's
the problem of the magma core too.
No, there isn't. That's an imagined disagreement.
Well, it's a theory.
It's a real problem. It's not an imagined
theory.
problem.
It might not be a conspiracy theory, but it's a theory. Nobody.
Then I got that. I got a joke.
Go ahead.
Didn't make a joke.
Oh, who did? What did
I know there's a lot of people addicted to money. You could call them donuts.
Become grown-ups?
You could call them donuts.
Oh, donut. Okay. Damn, I'm getting all the jokes this morning. That never happens.
I didn't. You said I made a joke? I don't remember. So what's the topic for you today, Jeff?
Well, Cynthia was going to come on and throw her no, I wish. Throw her show off her thrift stuff, but she's going to do it another day. So it's an open panel. I guess I should turn on my banner.
I was a lover and hater of thrift shopping. You know, like when my mom would be shopping for clothes all through these old clothes, and this is I gotta get out of here kind of thing. But there, you could for kids, like sometimes you could find some treasures, you know.
The only thing I ever liked was used bookstores and used record stores. That's where I found all.
Oh yeah, dude, fucking record shops, dude. Yeah. Like we got this one out here called Record Tape Traders. I don't know if they're still open, but they're kind of a small chain in Maryland.
They still have in person.
You just gave me a sick idea for a vape store name. Oh my god, it could be. God, if I wasn't so high all the time, I could remember shit when I'm gonna say it.
Write it down, jot it down.
Oh, it would be called Secondhand Vape.
Feed it into your AI. Secondhand thing. The bookstore was called Secondhand
Vape batteries. I could put spy equipment.
I don't know if you could discuss gay anything in objective reality.
I could partner with Google, and they could pay my friend to hack these vapes.
Well, no, because then I learned about the magma core and the mantle and that it's not just dirt all the way through, and you're gonna run into fiery magma at some point. And
it's more convincing than a wall.
Yeah, I mean, like nobody can go through the earth. There's no way, because either way, you'd suffocate. And hollow earth is bullshit too.
I have an equally valid theory that I've never heard anybody say. Complete theory, like you could take it as a joke even, that's fine. That's kind of how I thought of it. But like, what if the pyramids were actually like giant ant traps that are like designed for and like they play
Designed
some
for what?
sound and they get us to like walk into these tombs and stuff, and like all that dust might just be like where the Germans picked up on how to get their stuff done, like an incineration.
You just thought of this laying around your bedroom?
I thought no, I mean I was just like I like to try to think of things in ways I've never thought of them.
Yeah.
So I was like, dude, there's no way anybody's ever said before that pyramids are like human ant traps. I was like, I'm gonna remember that.
Dude, like, what if the pyramids were just like the Earth's nipples, you know, dude? Like, what?
Earth nipples. They are pretty fascinating, I gotta say though. But like they're really
Earth nipples.
You get the point.
yeah, like exactly.
Do y'all know about the LSU mounds? These hills of dirt on the LSU campus in Louisiana, and they're actually Indian mounds. And
Oh yeah, dude.
Great Pyramid. They're some of the oldest man-made structures in existence.
They're probably from the creek. There's a down that area. Well, I have a map. I haven't looked at it in a while, but I remember the creek.
Choctaw, the Cherokee, and really one other main tribe.
You're close to Florida, or that's close to Florida.
It's a few states away.
Like
the bottom, not that far on the panhandle.
New Orleans is right there, right? Sort of.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. Then there's. You said Louisiana?
Yeah.
So, dude,
Baton Rouge,
check.
LSU.
You want me to show you how I don't bullshit all the time? You're not even gonna believe me, but if you look it up, watch this credit I'm about to not have. But basically, in the Bible, there is a wood that Noah's Ark was made out of. Like it says the name of the wood, and that wood only freaking grows in Louisiana, bro.
No, what's the wood?
I swear. Okay. What?
What's the wood?
Look up like Bible, or look up like Noah's Ark wood, and type in Louisiana, and it'll tell you, be like, yo, these trees only grow here, bro.
Is it gopher wood?
Yes, it is.
Do they say in the Bible where
it does?
Do they say gopher wood?
Let's verify it, and then I either look like sometimes retarded genius.
Well, I don't know if that's gonna be this time. Let me see.
There was some kind of wood that Sabo was making his accordion.
It's a term used once in the Bible for the material used to construct Noah's Ark.
What was it?
It's a word used in the Bible to describe the wood.
What, gopher?
Yeah, but it's not.
That's the name of the damn wood that only grows in Louisiana, right?
It doesn't say anything about Louisiana.
I know, but what I'm saying, find me another place where that wood grows, is what I'm saying.
Well,
no homo.
Where did you get the Louisiana part? That's the part.
Because that's where the tree grows. That's the only place on Earth where that wood is grown. Not at all.
I think what's happened. You might be confused.
Okay. I don't think so. Unless it's a different state that it's grown in. That's completely right next to Florida. It's like, dude, it's a small area that grows that wood only. And if it's that's the wood that's used in the Bible, then where would they have gotten it is kind of my point.
The thing is that
I think it's a linguistic.
In Louisiana, they call gopher wood.
Linguistic illusion. The gopher wood word from the Bible is not referring to the same tree in Louisiana.
Yeah, but I don't know that. How do you know that?
I know you don't know that. That's why I'm trying to help you.
I know, but how do you know that?
So that when you are a genius, that'll actually be genius, and you won't mistake false genius for genius.
But no, it's like I'm asking, like, if I know I don't know it 100%, just like you don't know it 100%. But like, what? Not that one of us is wrong, but how does it not make sense?
Depends what you mean by no.
Nobody. Okay, come on. No one's going to sit here and say they know 100%.
Israel and Louisiana are so far apart from each other, and I don't think people were coming over from Israel and getting seeds.
What I'm saying is it wasn't Israel. That they couldn't have gotten the wood from Israel is what I'm saying.
Okay, but like, why would they put it in the Bible if they couldn't get it from Israel?
Because some guy from the
Well, Israel didn't exist.
got crazy somehow and got it in the Bible. I don't know.
But the Bible is
Israel did not
fiction.
exist in Noah's times.
That's how I know.
None of us know why it says what I said.
And to be fair, the Earth was probably in a Pangea-like state in Noah's flood time.
And it all happened to just drift to Louisiana.
Yeah, I mean it's
For all we know, a boat was just created out of nowhere.
First of all, the Bible word is not referring to an actual wood. They don't know what wood it refers to, and
it does. It says
the easier explanation couldn't be that there's just the same word for two different types of woods and two different.
That only grows in one area of the world.
Well, how do you know?
How do we really know that Uncle Ben said with great power comes great responsibility? I mean, there's no way to really know this.
What do you mean there's no way to know what? There's a way to know that we already found out gopher wood does grow in the only place in the world that it grows is in Louisiana. And I'm saying that I think that there's a good possibility. Did you read about the wood at all? Did we learn anything or did we just say no?
Is it spelled the same?
I mean, I can tell you how I know.
I'm not gonna ask the AI.
I could tell you how you know too.
Okay.
The identity of gopher wood mentioned in the Bible as the material for Noah's Ark remains a mystery. There is no scientific consensus on what tree species it refers to. That's in the argument right there, but just in case it doesn't.
Oh yeah, well there's also no scientist that ever got all the animals on board at one time either, so
here are some theories about what gopher wood might be: cypress, cedar, Florida torreya. Those are the three they name as candidates. Ultimately, we may never know for sure what kind of wood gopher wood was.
Well, I know it wasn't Canaanite wood.
Growing in Louisiana is something that's calling gopher wood.
Isn't there a lot of
vibranium?
Isn't there a lot of cypress in Louisiana?
Yeah, in the swamps.
Yeah, that's right.
And by the way, guys, swamps preserve the most minerals in bones and fossils. So if you go to Florida in particular, which they've totally redone a ton of stuff since the 70s and stuff, but they find mastodon bones, or not mastodon, saber-tooth, like completely perfectly intact because of the mineral concentration of the water that comes from the natural springs underneath the land. And so when you get to swamps, that's where you actually find a lot of preservation, which is really interesting because they used to have, before Vietnam, they used to have these, what's it called? It's a type of tourism. They had like healing springs. They were called healing springs. You know anything about springs, Jeff, in Louisiana?
Yeah, I've been to some springs. They weren't healing springs.
Well, that's what we don't know because maybe they didn't tell us, because they don't want us to heal.
Look at me now.
I think they wanted to sell us pharmaceuticals is what I thought, but I thought they'd take the healing springs away personally. No, but so before Vietnam, healing spring water tourism or like healing water tourism was an actual thing. And then after Vietnam, they redid a lot of those areas for some reason with like federal funding and stuff where it's like, okay, some rich guy paid for this to happen. And also it didn't really put it in the paper either because they kind of didn't want us to know. All I'm saying, I'm not claiming end of the world conspiracy. I'm just saying not everything is what it appears to be. And everything I said there is pretty much facts compared to whatever else I hear most people on the internet ever
things are
say.
exactly as they appear to be. Sometimes they're not complicated at all. They're exactly
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Denizen, am I willing this?
Are you what, sir?
Am I willing this? Is there a way to change?
I'm done. I just want to make sure I made my point. Let you guys know I am serious. I'm not just making stuff up. That's all. You guys go ahead. I'll chill.
No, I don't think you're making stuff up. I don't. I think you're sincere about what you think. I just think there's some confusion or misinformation that got slipped in somewhere. Not your fault.
I also think that Venus Williams is LeBron James.
Yeah.
Who the fuck?
I'm with you on that one, bro. I think it's both Venus and Serena on each other's backs, like in a trench coat. That's what. I think the Gopherwood thing. I mean, I think it is interesting that there's like only one. I think it's interesting they say that the they also say that the cross that Christ crucified on was dogwood. We all know what dogwood looks like, and smells.
I want to
like.
go antiquing and ask them if they have gopherwood, like a gopherwood table or something.
No, you gotta wonder, did they spell it different in the Bible than they spell it in Louisiana?
I'm gonna say my grandmother had this lovely gopherwood rocking chair. I was looking for a gopherwood piece.
Yeah, well, did she use it as a raft? Apparently, it floats well.
Compatible with it, and see what they say if they know gopherwood.
Well, the prophet.
I'm on a quest for gopherwood now.
Why does dogwood smell the way it does? That's what I want to know.
How does it smell? Is it a good smell, or is it like because that's where the dogs taste?
You ever smelled dogwood before?
That's the one that makes the white flower.
Dogwood smells like cum.
Oh, dude, why would you want to smell that?
I didn't say you'd want to.
Why is it called dogwood then?
I got my little plant merit badge at West Scouts, but
how did you find that out?
Because I had dogwood trees in my backyard growing up. Stupid.
And how did you find the other half of that equation out?
Because I'm a man.
Yeah, he kind of makes the shit, It's like going up to Ben and Jerry's and asking them how they know what ice cream tastes like.
Oh my god, dude,
I was a teenage boy. How do you think I found out what it smells like?
I thought it smelled.
It doesn't always like it's not always the same.
It smells like bleach.
Okay, well,
why is it spicy?
It smells like bleach.
I hate when it smells like church wafers.
I've never heard of that.
They don't have a smell.
Yeah, they're kind of. They don't really have. Yeah,
dude. You know what? Here, I got another theory for you. I don't know who makes those church wafers. There could be any chemical in the world on those. Who knows? They're spraying shit. Dude, they're Subway.
It's just the paranoid brain. You can
no, dude. No, it's not paranoid. If it's science that proves like that it's real. Like a lot of these like fast food companies and shit.
Science has proved that the hosts are made of unknown chemicals.
No, of what the host? No, that's what I'm saying. Not yet, because I haven't looked into it fully. But like science does prove that like Subway basically feeds you yoga mats and like food coloring. You know what I'm saying? It's like it makes you want like I can't just forget one because one like the other one isn't really that fun to begin with. Like you go up there and people and one time, guys, true story. Okay. I'm just going to say a member of my family was receiving the host as Jeff pronounced it. And the person handing it over handed it to this person in my family. And my family member said, "Hey, do you mind if I get two of them? And I'm a little hungry. Could you put a little cheese in between it?" And I was like, how are you part of my family? Like how? Like this is like you think life isn't hard enough. You have to tell this guy to put cheese in between the church wafers, bro. And the guy about lost his mind. He I don't know if he like became possessed or became unpossessed for a moment.
This is a Catholic church?
No, I mean might as well have been, but no.
He might have just been trolling.
I was like, when I remember being like 13 and being like, I'm gonna get the cup this time. I'm gonna get the cup of wine. You know how they walk around with a thing. You can either take it from this little plastic cup, which Jesus probably wouldn't have actually been a fan of, or you could take it from this chalice. You know, like
everybody was drinking after. Even I went to Christmas Mass last year. This was after COVID, and they were passing the chalice. People were drinking after, and then just
they're all putting their demons on the inside of that glass. I don't want any of that.
I know. I'm staying here.
Man, dude,
they didn't let the people drink the wine at the church I was at. Only the priest got to drink it.
The church I went to was Pentecostal, so they only had grape juice.
Okay, I know Yeah, you guys seen some fire?
Did they believe it was wine? Like, did
you guys have some fire melodies?
Gotta believe it's blood, homie.
Oh man,
grape juice is what we had when I was growing up.
Yeah, it's just grape juice.
I thought church was when I was growing up, I thought church was a place to kind of like hear like a good message and like contemplate a little bit and then eat donuts.
What denomination did you grow
up? Dude, I understand I should answer you directly, and I'm not doing this out of disrespect, but it's hard for me to label things what other people label things.
Hey, what was the name of your church?
What did society call them?
Yeah, what did your church call itself?
Man,
you don't have to answer.
I don't see the benefit in me saying that. Basically,
okay, I'm curious.
I'll tell you, not Scientology and not whatever the Hebrew ones
donuts. Does philosophy of donuts?
Yeah, they weren't kosher donuts. I could tell you that. But the pizza though, that was good too on
and kosher.
Days. Yo, you guys are gonna think I'm fucking lying, bro. Like you think, like I just think people don't pay attention, dude. One of the craziest things I've ever seen at a church one night was there was like a Saturday service. Oh God, there's another story. Oh my God. There's a Saturday service and a Sunday service. So on Saturday service, they go, hey guys, last month, Sunday service basically like kicked our butts in donations or like tithes or whatever. Like they like pitted the services kind of in a roundabout way a little bit. They were like
they had like a sales outreach.
Dude, they printed it in the bulletin. They were like, look, last month's was like 23 grand from like Sunday, and it was only like 19 from whatever on Saturday. But I think they switch all the brochures out for the Sunday service, and they go, look, Saturday did better than you. That's what I think.
Yeah, we can do better.
Are you religious, Lanza? What's your current religion?
That's an old joke.
Yeah, everybody's religious, but so in that regard, yeah. The usual, sacrificing animals.
Consider yourself Christian?
Like pretty soon I'm gonna work with the Clintons. I heard we're gonna like do some like some model searching in earthquake affected areas.
Dan, you're non-religious, right?
Non-religious.
And Busker, how about you?
I'm not religious. I mean, my parents took me to Pentecostal church when I was a kid. I got out of it and got into punk rock, and I just didn't I was just like, fuck it. But then as I got older, I started thinking maybe there is some sort of force, because there's times in my life that it seems like something is guiding me. There's times in my life, and then I notice it especially with my disease. But I don't know for a fact, so I can't really say. I guess that, what do they call that?
Agnostic.
Agnostic, yeah, I'm agnostic.
And Chris is Christian Gnostic, I think.
Oh, sorry, guys. By the way, I just want to say, good day to everybody. I hope everybody has a good rest of the day. I think I'm actually going to get off this thing. I got to do some stuff, but
okay.
The freak's been killing it, man. The freak's
yeah, he was up on
he's just a
Panel
he's
last
easy.
night,
He's like easy to
fighting
like.
with Joe Cool.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about fighting, but he makes sense a lot, so that's cool.
Well, the freak, you can come up today if you want.
All right, later, guys.
See,
you have a good day,
Don't.
too.
If you guys see pyramids appear out of nowhere, or like a sound that it's attracting you and it's bringing you towards a sandy area, and then eventually pyramids, don't go in them.
Because it might be an ant trap.
That's right.
A human ant trap.
there you go.
Or there could be free kittens.
No kidding.
There's free kittens everywhere. There's no such thing as a if someone's charging for kittens, you're going to look bad.
There's free kittens everywhere except for the breeders of like the fancy dancy cats.
Oh, like the Egyptian cat, the hairless one. Yeah.
Like my mom, she bred Bengals, and I had a half serval, and she got in. This guy, I bought it secondhand from a lawyer in New York, and it was vicious when I got it. But did I ever show you guys that pictures of that thing?
No.
I remember seeing them.
Let me. I'll pull it up. This cat was beautiful. It would live for 22 fucking years. But it died really, really sick, and I don't know what he died of. It was really bad. Audio avatar. All right, here we go. There's El Guapo.
Aw, he's huge.
He was a big cat, and he was half the size of a real, like his father was a actual full-blooded African serval.
Oh, did he get fucking murdered you?
Wow, look at that.
He's
It didn't. The former owner declawed its foreclaws, and I'm kind of glad he did since I took it on, because that thing would have tore me up with his claws.
For real, dude. That thing is a born murderer.
And towards the end, like he got out, like I never let him out of the house because I knew it would become problems. But I kept him entertained. He had other cats in the house, so he had a good life. And the other cats all died.
Did he
So
eat
he was
those
the
other
last
cats?
one. I'm sorry.
Did he eat those other cats?
No. Well, he was vicious towards them at first, but then he kind of got along with them, and they were just domestic cats. But we did have one. Me and my girlfriend, we did have one Bengal, and that's the other half of what Guapo was. The mother of Guapo was a Bengal. The father was a full-blooded African serval. It's like Frank and Kitty.
Yeah, no, I was interested in like those hybrid cats for a while because like my wife really wanted one, and
Yeah.
but they're too expensive. But.
Yeah, they're expensive, but if you get them, if you know how to raise them, you can get them as kittens. And I wish I had gotten him as a kitten, El Guapo, because he had lived in an apartment in New York, in Manhattan, and the guy didn't have time to spend with it, and it was getting in fights with the other Savannah cat. That they're called Savannahs. That's the breed. And so it got in a fight with his other cat, and then it also bit the neighbor's dog, and the dog got infected and died.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And I found this all out after the fact that I got it in my house. I'm like, Brian, why the fuck didn't you tell me all this? And he got bit too and got infected. And I got bit, and the very end I got bit because the thing got out of the house, and I needed my nephew to usher him into the basement, and he wouldn't go, so I just like tried to usher him in with a trash can lid, and he reached up and bit my hand, dude, and I washed it off with, I thought, sure enough, rubbing alcohol peroxide, that I got it quick enough. No, man, the top of my hand looked like it was like wrinkled, bloated, and I had definitely get antibiotics for that. He had a vicious, venomous mouth.
Cats aren't supposed to be venomous. That's you got a first cat there.
What's that?
Cats aren't supposed to be venomous. Your cat was urgent.
I'll show you a picture. He has a missing tooth. This was after the first time he had to go to the vet because he had bladder crystals, and he couldn't pee. And it kind of reminded me of my later life with MS.
It's deep.
Anyway, yeah. So he had one missing tooth. I don't know if you can blow that up enough to see.
Yeah,
it.
I can see it on the left. Is
Yeah.
it is that the same cat we just saw?
Yep. Yeah, that's
That thing is terrifying, dude.
Elana looks demon.
I would not feel safe living with that in my house.
I mean, all cats look like that when they're vicious. I mean, when they're hissing, like he'll like what would happen with him after a while, he would hiss at me, and then all of a sudden he'd rub up against me. It's really weird. He was like bipolar. Like his natural instinct was to hiss at me and growl, and his growling was vicious. Oh my god!
Almost like he was a hybrid between two different kinds of cats.
I'm sorry.
I was just joking. I said almost like he was a hybrid between two different kinds of cats.
Yeah, well, he three different. He has three different cats in him: a domestic cat and
I was joking. It was a joke.
No, I'm just for reference. Like the mother Bengal cat was a domestic, and an Asian leopard cat, which is a tree dwelling little cat, and the father is an African serval. It has like the African serval. That thing has much bigger ears than Guapo did, so his ears shrunk through hybridization. But they have big, like satellite dish ears.
He's a pretty cat, though. Okay.
Yeah, Guapo was definitely. Yeah, I'll take this picture off because he's kind of a bummer. I'll get yeah. That's him on my bed. That's after he actually became. At first he was not nice it took a long time to get him to become at least calm enough to sit near me, and he's sitting on my bed there, and that was kind of I took that picture because that was the first time he actually sat on my bed, and I thought, wow, I gotta get a picture of this. This is a pivotal moment. I miss the bastard, but in a way I don't, because I wouldn't be able to take care of him with how bad my MS is at this point, because that thing is, I don't think I could take care of any cat to put it, yeah.
There's something special about like wildlife type animals that you grow like a bond with, like animals that aren't meant to be domesticated and stuff like that. There's something really special about that. Like we rescued a hummingbird once, and I bonded so much with the little hummingbird before it died. Like that's the most I've ever cried about anything. Sadly, not. That was like the day that hummingbird died. I cried for like a solid 24 hours. I just bawled my eyes out. It was so heartbreaking.
You know what? I had 4 cats at one point, and everybody called me the cat lady. But like I didn't necessarily cry when they died, but I did get a little depressed, and especially when Guapo died. He was the last cat that I had that died. Like he lived to 22 years, man. I couldn't believe that.
That's a long time.
I know, like yeah. I got him in 2000, late 2000, and he died in 2022. He was only 7 months old when I got him, but like even that, like you can't tame a cat like that, even though it's a hybrid. That thing could be as vicious as an actual serval,
Yeah.
You got to know what you're doing to have something like that, and also, depending on the state, you need a license to have something like that. Hybrids, not like that's legal.
You can just have like tigers and shit, I guess, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's craziness, man. Like having the Panthera versions of the cat and on your property. I mean, like that's just insane.
Yeah, I don't. fully understand Texas. You know, Texas, freedom, yeah.
Buffalo was the name part of Twitter platform. The video game.
But I did. There was a way I could pick him up, but I couldn't pick him up. I had to go behind him and lift him up by his underneath his chest, and I could kiss him. And this is how I got this picture. Let me. I had to hold him up behind him. He can't I can't be like face. I couldn't be facing him at all because that is a threat.
Yeah.
Like if I came behind him, he just didn't care. It was so bizarre. Like he was comfortable enough that I could go around him and grab him underneath his rib cage and kind of lift his legs up. I couldn't lift his whole body up ever, but I could lift up his forelegs and just give him a kiss, and that's how I got that picture. And he has thrush. It looks like he has thrush on his tongue. I don't know what that is.
I think it's just the lighting. It looks like it's just light.
It could be, yeah. He was a beautiful cat, man. He was a beautiful cat.
All those animals, I mean, like they're beautiful. Like when they're just leopards and I've been to the zoos and seen those big cats like that. Like they're gorgeous. Like, but
Dangerous.
We got mutts.
our cats are clones of cats we had before. It's really strange.
What?
Well, we found not literally. I'm not serious. I just the two cats we adopted here in Dallas look almost identical except for the fact their markings and everything, and like they're two different kinds of cats. They're both a brother and sister. I mean, in this case, both sisters. I'm sorry, not brother and sister. We thought they were brother and sister, but it turns out they're both girls. But and that happened twice, and like they both have like the same kind of markings, except for like the older ones were a little more gray, and these were a little more black. But they look like they're just like identical, and they have the identical personalities of the old cats we had in Vegas and stuff like that. And like
It's just bizarre.
It's just weird. I mean, it's not like there's no conspiracy behind it. It's just we just joke with them being clones because it looks like they're clones. Okay, I already got real quiet. So.
Oh, the Secular Humanist Manifesto. For the most part, Satanism kind of adds an extra emphasis on anti-authoritarianism, autonomy, self-determination, etc. But Wikipedia, I think, has the different points of the manifesto. They might even have a link to it. Yeah, not all of it 100% in detail. I mean, I have a few quibbles with some of it. And I watched that Dillahunty debate with, or what was left of it, what started as it, with Andrew Wilson and Matt Dillahunty. And some of the claims that Dillahunty made on behalf of secular humanism for around the trans issue, to me, were kind of in contradiction to the actual principles of secular humanism. So I would have liked to see more of that debate to see how Dillahunty squared those contradictions. But for the most part, yeah, secular humanist. I mean, I don't like have it printed out and wake up and follow every letter of it, but it more or less reflects my positions.
Yes.
Yeah, modern Satanism, probably both Church of Satan and Satanic Temple, the non-theistic versions anyway, is tends to be like a outgrowth or expansion of secular humanism. But the secular humanist principles are kind of a starting foundation, I think, for both, for modern Satanism. And then like was it LaVey mixed it in with a lot of Nietzsche and kind of social Darwinism, and Satanic Temple mixed it in with Marxism and critical theory and social justice. His code is so beautiful. I did not see the debate with Jordan Peterson. Well, y'all want to keep going, or does anyone else want to come up and throw
I
something?
don't know why everyone stopped talking. I don't know.
I'm chatting with the comments.
I saw the Dillahunty debate
with Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
How do you think it went?
Oh, it was interesting. It's, you know.
I really know who Matt Galante is. I know the name, but I don't know who he is. Really, so.
There's not a lot of room in that conversation for me, you know? I've kind of hit philosophical bedrock a few times with thousands of people all over the world.
Yeah, Da Freak.
Joe was supposed to come up too. Wasn't he saying that he would come up today when he was in here yesterday?
The Freaks come up before. I mean, it's not like the first time.
He was on Cynthia's. He went up to talk to Joe Cool about politics. And I kept checking in like throughout the night, and they were still going, still talking, still going.
Man, Joe and I have gone like 12 hours before.
I watched some of his cop videos. Sometimes I kind of agree with him, but a lot of times I see it from the cop side. Like I see how things could have gone differently to make the interaction go more smoothly. And it wasn't always the cops throwing it off. Blabbed enough, you hardly talked. No, let's hear it.
Man, I've never seen a situation in which it wasn't the cops.
Go watch some of Joe Cool's channel.
They make it.
It's not just him. It's like a whole little team. So there's other people on it that go and film cops too. Are we going to hear it to? Oh, I can tell you. I can answer that, Joe. Highly determinist.
No. It's a common misconception.
You have choice, but there's no free will. You're not free. Your choice is not free, but
free will is an illusion.
How can choice be real, but will be an illusion?
Free will is an illusion.
Because you're defining free in a very rigid, specific way.
That's pretty broad, wide, well accepted, and well debated way.
Independent of any influence, outside influence at all.
Same way it's been debated for millennia.
What consent? What kind of consent?
Whether, like, the difference between a cockroach's ability to choose to run away from light and toward a door to get outside, or to hide in a cabinet, and the level of free will that a human being has when he chooses to get married or something like this. The idea, you know, like of the amount of agency and freedom and independence that goes into that thought. No one would ever argue whether or not a man has the ability to run away from a light source. You know, the debate is only the way in which freedom implies something when you add it to your will.
Or you're inferring something that the rest of us are not when we're adding
Well,
it
just
to.
me and Wikipedia and it's like everybody I've ever heard debate about free will ever in the history of ever, except until I came to this channel.
Oh, okay. Well, good. I'm glad we could give you a novel experience.
Everybody always ends up there rhetorically, but I've never had anybody claim like put their flag in it before.
But I've never, I still don't fully 100% completely understand your definition of free will.
I know.
Because a lot of it overlaps with my understanding of free will.
I finally came to a place
I'm
where
sure
I
it would.
viewpoint. I don't agree with his viewpoint. I don't fully. I don't subscribe to it, but I do actually understand his viewpoint. I just think that it's kind of limited in his viewpoint.
It is settled as far as general, because it's only the like these few online geeks that still are keeping it going. Most people don't question.
No, it's an age-old debate.
They don't question gravity. They don't question the shape of the earth. Here, Donald Trump, what's going on? Talk to us.
Bueno.
Just triggers them.
Yeah, so I think Joe Cool's even going to vote for Donald Trump now.
After last night?
No, probably not after last night, but I think, Biden has been inept enough or just, totally a disaster enough for him to not vote for Joe Biden.
Wow. Does that mean he's going to specifically vote for Trump, or he's just going to sit out?
I think he'll vote for Trump.
I'm still undecided myself. I don't want to vote for either one.
Yeah, but we got the two-party system, and they kind of control who is put up on the ballots for the most part, and I'm okay with that. I mean, otherwise you have like Canada, they have, I don't know, like 6 parties or whatever, and what ends up happening, we found out like during the COVID thing or during the whatever thing, is that 30% of the population voted for the guy, yet he ended up with the dictatorship type of emergency powers, and nobody really was, down for that.
You talking
Same
about
way you would if you had free will.
I don't remember any dictatorship powers. You
Well, when they enact the emergency, the Emergency Powers Act or whatever they have for like dealing with national security emergency type issues or health issues or whatever, they're able to basically almost like martial law, enact top down type of what do they call that? Some sort of top down authoritarianism, mandates and stuff. So.
I was in Seattle and I didn't
place.
experience any of that. And Seattle's one of the most like top down. Like if it was going to happen anywhere, it would happen here. And I think they exercise an amazing amount of restraint compared to what they could have done.
Well, in Canada, they wanted to mandate that the truckers would have to wear masks in their trucks by themselves, and that's what kind of kicked off the whole the trucker convoy up there.
Dude, that's retarded. That is totally retarded by the definition of the word.
Yeah, so it was getting out of control, and that's what kind of kicked off the freedom convoy and stuff. And thankfully, pretty much because of Canadian truckers, the whole C-19 thing kind of fell apart.
What fell apart?
The whole narrative and the whole lockdowns and the shutting down of schools pretty much came to an end at that point.
It never fully ended in Maryland. Everybody's still got to wear masks in hospital and even hospital adjacent areas. If you can believe
Like
that.
even today.
Yeah, even today. They wanted me to wear a mask. Like after I had surgery on my ear, and they pulled out a salivary gland that was becoming kind of like a benign tumor, and they had to pull it out from behind my ear. So no way in hell was I gonna wear any of those elastic bands around my ear. And my neurologist, like my different doctor neurologist, was like, for my appointment, she said, "Well, I can tell them that it's okay." I'm like, "No. If all these other people are wearing masks and I'm not, I don't want to get those looks that I used to get way back 2020, 21." It's just like, yeah, I'm not into that no more. Never was, but I ain't gonna fucking go along with any of that.
I know none of the prices went back to normal either.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, I never expected them to.
Well, it's gonna only keep rising.
Don't reverse.
And the thing that really sucks is that the cost of living goes beyond the cost of what you earn. I mean, the amount that you earn, or people that work. You know, I guess that's why.
You'll own nothing and you'll be happy.
Right? Oh God, yeah, that reminds me. Fucking Klaus, old Schwabi Dob.
Well, first day Biden, I mean, he canned all the oil permitting and all the other little executive orders that
I don't think that's
basically
true.
choke the oil supply, and that's what causes inflation is the oil supply or the lack thereof.
I think it's deliberate price gouging.
What agenda? You're saying like the no free will is a psyop, and there's somebody behind it? I mean, it's been a legitimate philosophical debate for centuries.
No, it hasn't. It's all figured out. I only bring it up because I'm part of the trans rainbow Iranian
You're more rainbow
agenda.
than I am.
Who's that other guy that comes up here and says that that there is no free will, kind of, that we can't know something, so therefore there is no free will of something that we don't know that there's a bigger thing about or something. Who's that guy? I forgot his name.
Well, there's Denizen and Steve are the
Yeah, Steve. I think it was Steve. Denizen, do you have basically the same concept as Steve does regarding that, or am I thinking of something else?
Oh, well, I don't know what you just said, but I have had similar conversations. Like, I've had conversations with Steve where we shared some similar conclusions.
Colt and Joe, come jump in, jump on in.
Because from what I understand, what he thinks is that there's something bigger out there that we can't know or don't know, and therefore you have no actual free will. But to me, that's irrelevant argument because we're all in that same boat.
Well, I mean, irrelevant to what?
Irrelevant to saying that that's the end all be all of that discussion.
If something else has will over you, that's pretty much the end all be all.
Yeah, and every time I ask you who or what, you can never tell me.
I never said there was a who or what.
You said I'm being lied to, and you can't tell me what the lies are.
I told you exactly who was lying to you and exactly about what.
Well, refresh.
And that had nothing to do with the free will debate.
You not say it on the stream.
That had nothing to do with free will either.
So who is lying and what's the lie?
I believe yesterday I told you that the CIA and the media were lying to you about the reasons why why we're involved in the Ukrainian war, and the reasons why Putin invaded.
Okay, but they're not lying to me about that because I don't even know what they're saying. Like I don't follow any of that.
Okay, so you're right.
I don't.
So therefore, I'm wrong. The CIA doesn't lie. There's no such thing as conspiracies, and everything is as it seems.
That's stupid.
I know.
That's
So I don't
just
know
you
why you would bring up. I don't know why your response to what I said would be that. That's
Well,
what
because you
I'm
made
saying.
the claim that I'm being lied to about Ukraine, and I remember now the conversation, and I said you don't even know what I know about Ukraine. And like it doesn't matter; it's still a lie. You're still being lied to.
Correct.
Hey, do you guys know when? Some of you might know it, but like when the term conspiracy theorist was born?
I mean, they've had
Yeah,
them for
during the Senate hearings on the Kennedy assassination,
Yep.
in which the Congress admitted that there was a conspiracy to kill the president.
Exactly, and that's where it came from, and it never fucking went away.
It's
And
a term that intelligence agencies use in order to discredit people who criticize the government. And that's why whenever we have conversations about things like the war and torture and war crimes, we end up talking about things like flat earth and werewolves and vampires and bullshit.
yeah.
Oh, vampires and werewolves are a thing again.
I mean, fuck, bro. Flat earth, I don't know. The moon is a fucking light, a flashlight, discus, whatever the fuck. It's hard to keep up with these days, I need to smoke some weed. I'll be right back.
It'll jog your mind. Not if you smoke indica. Get some sativa.
Yeah, so the press conference that Donald Trump had after al-Baghdadi was killed was, in my mind, the greatest moment in American history. So I'll do a quick little rendition of kind of the summary of that press conference.
Okay.
They've been fighting over this land for 2,000 years. It's nothing but dirt and sand. We're out of here. Oh, and we're keeping the oil. We're keeping the oil. And Baghdadi, he wasn't a fighter. He was a coward. He died like a girl, crying in a cave. He died like a little girl. You don't want to be like that, a loser. A loser. That's about it.
Oh, that was funny.
Not a bad effort. Thank you, the freak.
Yeah, I mean, it was close, but it was not like completely like Trump. But
it did sound like somebody from the East Coast, somewhere up around there.
No, but like the way Trump talks, he did a good impression. But like just the tone of his voice is not the same because he's doesn't have a fat jowl.
But at least he went for it. So I appreciate that. Hey, Tupelo, you too.
But if you're Vladimir Putin or a world leader on the world stage and you hear that, I mean, what are you supposed to think about? Messing around with the United States at that point? You're like, holy smoke! What the hell am I listening to?
Okay, I see what you're saying, Cole. That I'm like the attempt is being made to lie to me, whether I believe it or not. On their end, but I don't. He hasn't even convinced me of that. He hasn't point out what lie. He said some of the Ukraine, but he doesn't know what information I have or don't have about Ukraine. So he doesn't know what the lies are or not.
You also seem thoroughly convinced that I have any motivation whatsoever to convince you of anything.
Oh no, I don't know why you would think I'm convinced of that after all our conversations. I haven't walked away with that impression at all.
You seem to think that I'm trying to convince you. You said it repeatedly.
No, I think you're trying to have a conversation, and as part of that conversation, that people try to convince each other of their positions or the validity of their claims or their.
No, I know absolutely that. Yeah, I already anticipate.
So if you're here to have a conversation, but not necessarily wanting to do any of that, fine. But that's just strange. Most people come here.
You got to get used to it. To have a conversation when you have the positions that I do, you have to get used to it.
I'm used to it by now.
What I mean is I have to get used to people never taking any of my claims seriously. And then there was a time when I would do all the research and put it in make bulletin points and email people and post links, and it just doesn't people's beliefs aren't based on empirical information. They're based on their feelings. So that just ends up being a huge waste of time on my
Well,
part.
they can be based on their feelings, but people can also base their beliefs
Not my
on
experience.
empirical facts and reasoned arguments that are convincing and persuasive to them. So
I've convinced and persuaded a ton of people, and in retrospect,
you haven't me. I'm not asking
and I never will, and that's what I'm saying. In retrospect, it had nothing to do with the amount of effort I put into proving it. It was all about the individual's willingness.
You put no effort. I asked simple questions.
Yes, I put less and less effort. The more and more I have these conversations, the less effort I put into it. I put zero effort into it now, Jeff. Zero. If you're an adult, if you're almost 50, and you don't know some of the things I'm telling to you about your government and how the human brain works, nothing I say or show you will ever convince you.
But you don't even try to see if
yes,
true.
I will not even try. Correct.
Okay. Well, you're mistaken, because plenty of other people tell me things and communicate their points, and
they try to convince you of the same things I think, right? About government conspiracies. How does that work out?
I've had the free will conversation before. Yes.
And how'd that work out? You believe?
You were there. No, he got very frustrated.
You're someone who tells me that authoritarianism doesn't exist. That the war crime, America doesn't commit war crimes. You went from America doesn't commit war crimes to America committed war crimes to war crimes might be necessary, all within a 45-minute conversation.
I don't know why you would think I don't think it exists. This kind of stuff, like what's happening right here. I don't know where this comes from. It doesn't come from anything I've said or any conversation we've had. So it adds noise into the
like what Britt is saying, whether or not he's being sarcastic or not. With it. That's what I'm saying.
Do what?
Like, I understand Britt might be like being sarcastic, but basically he's summarizing what I'm saying. I'm not in the convincing you that you're being brainwashed mode anymore. Maybe in my 20s. I'm almost 50.
It doesn't.
If you don't fucking get it, you're never going to get it.
If you think I'm brainwashed or not at all. I don't care if that's what you think about me. I don't think I'm brainwashed. But to think I'm brainwashed but not want to show me how or what the liars or the false belief is just odd.
I told you. I tell you all the time. I give you plenty of examples.
Ukraine. You did.
I'm dropping down, guys. I'm about to fall asleep.
Every time we're always talking about something specific.
Hi, Chris.
Yeah, take care, Chris. Feel better.
Ukraine is all Joe Biden's fault.
I think it is too, Chuck. I think it's more about them and their life and their personal psychology than anything happening in my reality.
It's not the globalists, not at all.
Yeah. I mean, there's the gaslighting there and the insulting too. They're the ones that are so emotionally attached to believing what they believe. Then they tell you they don't care what you think, but like you bring it up every time I come up on the panel, you have to find a way to make it about free will. You bring up conspiracies and free will every time I come up on the panel.
Okay, we don't have to talk about free will.
I know we don't.
Okay,
I'm well aware of that.
Move on. Let's go to something else.
And things like work out my way sometimes and don't work out my way sometimes. I find it laughable people who think that like they take so much credit for all their accomplishments.
I didn't understand those accomplishments.
You have 1,000 subs now, Jeff?
No, I wish. We're trying to get to 500.
Okay.
He started the show talking about conspiracies, which was the last thing that we argued about on the last stream.
No one's talked about a conspiracy in the last.
No, it switched to free will.
Okay,
and then it inevitably goes to how miserable Denizen's life is when we're having conversations about broad philosophical topics.
You want to talk about gaslighting?
Oh shit, man.
I'm just glad all this shit's recorded. That's all I have to say.
Gaslighting.
Talk about whatever you want now.
This whole conspiracy talk is actually kind of moot now, because if you saw or were up on the John Sussman lawyer case in Washington D.C. about the Trump Russiagate stuff, conspiracy can't even be charged unless you're charged with a previous crime, according to that court. So it's all a wash now.
What?
In other words, there has to be the evidence of conspiracy has to be crimes that you're convicted for. So unless you have that, you can't charge someone with conspiracy, even though they still do it in other courts. But for that guy, for some reason, they threw that charge out.
Which guy?
John Sussman.
Who is that?
He's a lawyer that was either working for the government or was contracted out to gather dirt and falsify documents against Donald Trump.
Oh, is that the kid who wrote the fake memo to the FBI?
I think that's a different guy. That he did the falsifying of documents for the FISA court, but this was another guy that was like the initiator of Crossfire Hurricane.
Initiator.
Well, he was like the supplier of the misinformation, who was also hired by Hillary Clinton. So,
I thought it was that British dude where they got the dossier from.
Right, but he's in Britain, so they can't charge him.
Michael, somebody, what was his name?
Christopher
Michael
Steele?
Sussman.
Yes, Christopher
Steele.
Steele.
What was that? Denizen?
Christopher Steele. So who is this guy? Like, who is he to Steele? Is he Steele's handler?
He's like, he might be like that, but I think he worked for a law firm that was hired by Hillary Clinton. So when Durham was trying him and they had all those charges against him, they threw out conspiracy like right away, because the judge said, well, you can't charge anyone with conspiracy unless they've been convicted of a crime. Can you believe this shit?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Hey guys, can you hear my computer overheating pretty bad?
Oh,
Like the fan?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucked up. Shit. I think I gotta turn this thing off and let it rest for a while. But thanks for having me up, Jeff.
yeah. Thanks for coming up.
Good time. All right, see y'all later.
But yeah, Joe Biden is
oh,
so
like-
bad.
Well, I don't. This is what I don't understand: the not being able to point to proof of something. Then what the hell are you basing your belief on? If
I
it's
can
not
point to proof of
something
it
you
real
can point
easily.
to? Like, why are you
He's-
adopting a theory
He's not.
that's
He's.
not based on anything you can point to? Is it vibes, intuition,
It's.
gut? What?
He's wrong. He's wrong.
what is
There's
your
plenty of proof.
methodology?
There's plenty of proof. People who are brainwashed don't accept the proof. It's far easier.
I haven't seen this whole conversation is about you not giving the proof when I asked for it. I've yet to see the proof. You said something very vague about Ukraine, and so far that's the only shred of anything I could even call
It wasn't
proof.
very vague. It was specific. I gave you the who, what, where. Every detail you asked for, I gave it to you. I just don't like
you
the
didn't.
answer.
You'll have to go
And then
back.
your response, yes, I did. Your response was, you don't know anything about Ukraine, therefore you're not being lied to.
No, I said you don't know.
Absolutely ridiculous.
I
Come
was
on.
lied to about Ukraine, and then I said, but you don't even know what I know about Ukraine. So how do you? And you said it doesn't matter. It was still lie. Like you were still lied to.
Correct.
Regardless of what you know.
Correct.
It was a lie.
Correct.
But wait a second, Denizen, you're saying that we don't have true free will because the CIA or the government lies to us, and therefore we can't have true free will?
No, he's conflating two separate things.
Okay, sorry about that.
This is the conversation you wanted to move on.
The free will conversation had nothing to do. I'd rather have a conversation about how funny it is that you don't know that you're being programmed.
Let's have that one. We have whatever conversation you want. I'm so.
I'm gonna need some other people though. Where's Joe Cool?
We got DeFreak. We got Old Joe. We got Andrew Langlois. We got Brown's Boy. Cult of Culture's welcome to come up. Tupelo.
Press Lib isn't in.
If that's your barrier, if you can't have a conversation just us and you need other people, we have them out there. We'll see if we can get them up.
No, I'm just saying there's nobody else who thinks it's funny. That's what I was saying. You would need another person who thinks it's funny. It's just me.
Why do you need another person to think it's funny? If you think it's funny, just laugh. Be amused. Why does it have to be validated by somebody else?
In order to have a two-way conversation about it.
Oh, you want a conversation about what
Yeah.
you find funny. I see. So yeah, you would need someone that
Instead of how stupid and wrong and miserable Denizen is.
It sounds like that's how you're taking it.
Those are quotes. Those are quotes from the chat. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
Like that's how you're receiving it.
My view on the latest neuroscience is it has everything to do with the fact that my life's not going the way I want it to. This is literally what's in your chat.
I'm not the one that said that. That was.
I know you're not. I didn't say it was you.
Who said that? I remember them. But
right now.
Hey.
Oh fuck! Not this fucking guy. Jesus.
What's wrong?
I'm gonna need more weed.
Are there any panels you do like? You can hang out.
I like this one.
Hey, Denizen, how is Ukraine not
Denizen?
Just listen, Jeff. You're not special. You've been getting all butthurt about my political views, and then trying to gaslight me and turn it into something personal is not new for me. And I'll tell you, when you do it, I don't get it. I don't get the sense that you're doing it. I don't get it that you're doing it from a place of malice, which is why one of the reasons why I don't mind coming here. Some people are malicious, and I don't get that impression from you, which is why I like coming here.
Malicious at all. I don't know.
I know
the reactions you're having, or why the.
Maybe just if you should let me finish a sentence, you might be more aware of what I'm saying. I just said that I don't think you're malicious, and that's why I like to come here. Did you hear it that time? Sorry, I had to yell it, buddy.
What's your take on all this?
My take.
Are you sober, bro?
I'm what I am. I'm sorry if I came on. Jeff asked me to come on. People on the channel.
Jesus. I did. Intoxication doesn't matter.
What was the subject again?
Oh, who knows? We went all over the place.
I blame Joe Biden.
Not free will and not conspircy theory.
Oh, are we talking about being
brainwashed? That's literally, it's literally what we were talking about was free will.
Everybody under a government.
I know that, but Jeff doesn't believe that.
How is Ukraine not Joe Biden's fault, Denizen?
Oh,
could you elaborate on the question for me?
Well, how is Ukraine, Russia, basically gatekeeping Ukraine not Joe Biden's fault when we've known since 2012 that they don't want nukes there?
Oh, InfoWars knew that since 2003.
I mean,
and because Hunter Biden had been doing that, supplying between Russia and the Ukraine and everything else.
Before we get off on all that,
I
want to address this comment by Cole. I'm not reacting to not being agreed with. I'm reacting dismissively to when I ask for evidence, there's none, and then they shifted on to me, and there's some reason they can't give me and that's what I'm dismissing. If they have evidence,
he's seen the evidence himself. He dismisses it out of hand. There's no point. It's a waste of breath to try to give this man evidence. The more interesting conversation is the dichotomy between people who can't recognize they're being programmed by the system and people who are blatantly aware of it. That's the more interesting conversation.
They can go watch it and see that you're correct and I'm wrong.
Cult of Culture, I generally do just laugh and not get that upset. You just got to figure, like up here, that everybody talks over each other. If you start talking, they just get louder.
All the other panels.
So you have to, not all the other panels, a lot of them. I'll give you a lot of them.
Very well ordered.
Jeff, if you don't want me here, I'll leave, buddy.
You're welcome to stay here.
Okay. Thank you. I was just merely explaining to my friend here why sometimes you have to get a little loud if you want to get what you want to say on this panel. You know, it's a bit of a no holds barred competition.
Did you have your weed and was it indica?
Motion
Yes.
in her hands, or
well, let's give that a few minutes.
Hose again. Y'all remember that?
No, man, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Redemption in between.
And you just look like a Wildcat Bob Goldthwait or whatever.
Oh, I do remember him. He was in Shakes the Clown.
To the point I made earlier, when you bring up how the government lies about motivations for war, lies about what they're doing with our money and our tax dollars, the conversation inevitably becomes, if you don't believe in donut earth theory, you're just not paying attention.
This is the first time in the history of this stream that donut earth is
It's every time. You can't make that shit up,
bro. You have to show me. You will have to go show me a previous stream on this channel.
It literally happened on this stream. It literally happened 40 minutes ago on this stream.
I was so surprised to hear you for the first time.
Thank
you. We are living in two different realities.
I'm just saying, they program you to think that way. That's intentional, brother. So that every single time someone criticizes your fucked up government, we got to talk about like aliens and donut holes.
We came from somewhere in the universe. We're all alien to even our own species.
There's plenty of non-humans in the Bible. Like, Christians aren't going to be surprised by aliens.
Is that better? Because if I turn it too loud, I get
walkers, and we have demons, and we have the lizard folk walking among us.
Snake.
There are people.
Snakes. The Nagas. Well, we thought they were lizards, but we found out they're snakes.
Oh,
it comes from Hindu mythology, but there's somehow
you see this right here, Jeff. We have these. I'm talking lizard people, not snakes. Snakes have no
QED
whatsoever.
That's all I have to say about that.
There could be.
According to Rand, there are.
Well, Troglodytean and other folk with scales. Did you know that the human body has sweat glands all over its skin?
What does? The human?
The human body has sweat glands all over its skin. Tell me that is mammal.
What? We have what on our skin?
Sweat glands?
We have sweat glands.
Oh.
And hair.
All over our body.
There's something on the
we have it on the ends.
I have it set to automatically adjust everyone's mic, but I'm hearing that there's mic issues. I'm going to set it back to adjust on its own, and then we can go from there. Because I noticed when I play it back, mine sounds very low.
I just want to say, like, we know that Ukraine, the whole thing that set it off was Joe Biden instigating the initiation or the
started before he was in office.
They wanted to bring Ukraine into the EU or whatever, the NATO, and that meant that they're going to probably install nukes there, which we found out we had a biolab there, which nobody knew about, and we knew that Putin was going to basically use everything that he could to make sure that that didn't happen, which is what a good leader would do.
Well, Dan doesn't want to talk about conspiracy theories, so.
That's a conspiracy theory?
That is conspiracy.
A conspiracy is two or more people working together toward the same goal. That's what a conspiracy is.
Illegally. For something
no, it doesn't have to be illegal.
Otherwise, this would be a conspiracy. Yes, it does.
You can conspire to do something perfectly legal.
Look up the definition. At least the definition I'm going by was
Webster's
dictionary.
dictionary. A lot of the stuff has been removed, and some of the things.
An agreement to perform together an illegal, wrongful, or subversive act.
We would
An
Yeah,
agreement
wrongful,
between two or more persons to commit a crime or accomplish
illegal, wrongful,
illegal
or
purpose through
subversive,
illegal action. The American Heritage
or
Dictionary, English Language, 5th edition.
or English, illegal, wrongful, or subversive.
Even more above and beyond that, I was trying to honor your wish to not talk about conspiracy theories, and
Did I make that wish?
Topics, yes, you said free will and conspiracy theories. Those are the two things you named. The topics you want to move away from, and every time
I don't remember saying that.
Well, you can rewind the stream because you did. You said you accused me of always bringing up free will, and I said,
"Oh yeah, you brought it up," but I didn't say I shy away from it.
Talk about whatever you want.
There's a difference between you bringing it up and me running away from it.
Conspiracy theories.
Nefarious is the scheme of the government subverting people's rights.
Governments don't do that. Andrew, come on, you're making that up. Where's your proof?
Where's my proof? Where's my proof?
So one of the
Where's my proof?
Version is some people never.
Where's my proof?
That governments are subverting our right of the Constitution. You want my proof in the words and the documents.
He's got the documents, ladies and gentlemen.
No. Do you
have the time?
Have proof otherwise?
Well, now you're just shifting the blame. You're the one who made the claim.
I'm asking you a question, like you asked me if I have proof.
It's not just me. Okay, this is
to be
instructional.
transparent, or do you want to throw it back at whoever?
I was just trying to fill in for Jeff because he seems like he's occupied.
Information comes in
I'm
multiple
working
ways.
on my logic puzzle because it's more.
Not
stimulating.
everybody needs proof.
Take care, Joe.
Like
We'll be here tomorrow.
Jeff doesn't want to talk about this, Andrew.
Probably.
Okay.
One of the negative side effects of
I've
subversion
tried to
is
steer the conversation.
you don't recover
when you
from
request-
demoralization.
Y'all take it wherever you want to go now.
Did you hear me, Jeff?
What was that, Freak?
One of the negative side effects of subversion is some people never recover from demoralization.
Demoralization.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Learn helplessness.
It helps if you're irreverent to begin with.
Or oblivious or indifferent.
Yeah, well, yeah. Then you don't ever have to worry about the
Or
demoralization.
with a healthy sense of your own agency and autonomy, so you're not as enmeshed in these external influences that are engineering and
That don't even exist.
Well, maybe not for you.
The proof is on YouTube. The proof is.
You
in
imply
all
they don't
videos that
exist.
Who's implying what? Are you saying that he is or saying that I am?
Yeah, your friend Jeff doesn't believe in any conspiracy theories.
Well, conspiracy is.
He doesn't think the government is authoritarian. He doesn't think that you're programmed by the government. He doesn't
That's
see
why
any
I
evidence.
say that the government subverts the rights of
It's
its own.
authoritarian to the degree that it needs to be to function as a government, and that we.
You're
we
thinking of
allow it to be
authoritarian.
for that
That's
purpose.
way too general. Go a little closer to the specifics. of
Denizen doesn't like paying taxes.
totalitarian,
That's what all this comes down
and
to.
it'll explain why the government subverts rights of the people.
Do you believe
Check
that the
out
government
President
subverts the
Obama's
rights of the people,
Federalist
Andrew?
Papers of the Constitution, and you'll find
Andrew.
your proof there.
Andrew, do you
What's that?
believe the government subverts the rights of the people?
No, do
Okay,
I
Jeff.
think that? No, it's in the Constitution. Read the Federalist and non-Federalist documents. You'll find your proof there.
Okay, well, Jeff's not motivated enough to do that. He doesn't think that's there.
I'm asking you.
I already agree with you, buddy.
Those. You don't
I
have to
already
take
agree
my
with you.
word.
I don't
as
need to take your word
proof.
for it. It's
You
quite
can
clear to me. It is
disregard
blatantly obvious that the United States government
you want.
gives two fucks about human rights. That
How
it
is that
egregiously
obvious?
violates the rights of its own citizens on a regular basis. This is blatantly true to
My
me.
point, sir.
To you. It's obvious
You're
to you.
Yes.
proving
But
my
it's not,
point,
that's not the definition of
citizen.
Yeah,
obvious.
so I don't need to go check up on the proof. Is my point.
Why are we talking about people with disabilities, Jeff? In general. Oh man.
Well, the CIA
I,
is
I don't know what's going on with people's mics.
You just got to turn your sound down, I guess, Tupelo.
Oh, we're talking over each other. That's what's going on.
Well, that's what I was yelling. Yeah.
Sorry. If
I'm much
you
quieter
say
when people don't
something,
talk over
just
me.
speak up when you can. Jeff.
That's true.
You know, we go back to like Ukraine and Joe Biden, and Donald Trump would have had a deal, because if they can somehow make Hong Kong a anonymous non-nation within a nation and have access to the full financial world banking system, they could have worked out something in Ukraine that wouldn't have installed nukes there, and that would have not caused the invasion of supposed invasion of Ukraine, where Vladimir Putin is just saying, "Hey, well, I'm just protecting my back door," basically.
We don't need to intervene one way or the other with Ukraine nor Russia. We're not allies with either of them.
I think that made sense to me. I think I agree.
Why they choose to intervene with those two countries.
You don't have any guesses or inclinations as to why?
I do not understand their thought process in intervention between those two countries. We are not allies with either.
Yeah.
On paper, that's 100% correct. And what's even more screwed up is when Ukraine put in their papers to apply to become part of NATO during this whole war thing, Joe Biden said no. How effed up is that?
He's saying no now because he was found out. He doesn't want to be tied with the Russians nor Ukraine anymore. Because the Congress had him pulled out. Well, I don't know if they have more than not. I don't have proof. I'm just guessing right there.
Joe Biden didn't have to push for the Ukrainian entrance into NATO, and therefore he didn't have to instigate the invasion, but he did.
Why do you think he did?
So Russia's not responsible for the invasion. Biden is.
You ever heard of Bay of Pigs?
So Russia's not responsible for the invasion. Biden is.
Yeah, 100%.
That's a new take for me.
We take contraband from other countries.
Yeah, I guess if that's your version of the truth, I guess I have been lied to.
The government takes contraband from other countries to still it in stocks or whatever. Oh.
Russia told us back in 2012, in the most recent short history, that if we tried to install NATO and nuclear warheads in Ukraine, that they would do anything to make sure that that didn't happen. And so Vladimir just held us up to his word, basically. What did we expect?
He had already invaded before that, though.
Okay. That was good. A rare moment.
He's going to steel man the NATO argument. Like, why would anybody have any reason not to believe that he's going to continue to invade more countries?
That's steel manning. Because he's only said that in Ukraine.
Does that make it untrue, the freak?
I'm just going by what he says and what he's done.
So he invaded his neighbor several times.
Yeah, and we know why. He doesn't want NATO. He doesn't want Ukraine to be part of NATO's military installation.
I agree. He wants it to be part of Russian Empire.
No, he doesn't even care about that. He doesn't even care if they're
How do
independent.
y'all know all of this? About
You ever heard of Bay of Pigs during
wants or
Kennedy?
doesn't want?
Well, most of
That's
the stuff
who it
is
was.
what
They were
Putin
trying
said
to
out
put
loud.
nuclear warheads in Cuba.
To the Ukraine.
Yep.
It's the same situation except in reverse.
I don't think so, because I think if it were the same situation, Putin would have asked the United States to remove nuclear weapons from Europe in exchange for something else, kind of like we used to in the 80s when we got along and we shared a space program.
During the Cold War?
Yeah,
Well, then
toward
why
the end
didn't
of
the
it.
United States stop pursuing Ukraine entrance into NATO and then say no to them when they did apply, by the way?
Why did the United States what?
Why did they keep pursuing Ukrainian entrance into NATO?
I don't think the United States wants Ukraine to be into NATO. I think the United States wants Ukraine to be exactly what it is right now, a meat grinder proxy between the military's encirclement of Russia and China. And I think maybe Europe might want Ukraine to be a member of NATO more than the United States. But obviously, huh?
I say I probably agree with that, especially in our motivation in the backdoor meat grinder. That makes sense to me, but it's still it was pushed by Joe Biden, or I'm saying Donald Trump would have had a deal no matter what.
I think it becomes strategically advantageous for Putin to make these moves during Democratic presidency. Like when there's a Democrat in the White House.
But who the F can trust Joe Biden? Even the puppet president we set up at Afghanistan bailed because he couldn't trust Joe Biden for nothing. That's how bad it is.
I certainly don't trust Joe Biden. You have to ask Jeff. Jeff, do you trust Joe Biden?
Trust him for what?
Anything. To be a good president, to tell the truth, to be honest.
I might trust him
to
for.
have courage,
I might
to
even trust
be
Trump
wise.
for. What I don't trust of, like where my trust is most shaky, is his age, and that goes for Trump too. I don't trust either of them to make it through 4 years of presidency.
Do you think he lies like every day?
I don't know. I think Trump probably lies more every days than Joe Biden does.
All right, that didn't turn out as well as I had hoped it would, freak. We need an actual pro Biden.
Like if
here.
if the election was to like vote on which one you thought is most likely to lie more, I would definitely vote for Trump.
I got you covered, Denizen. How about the actual real conspiracy theory that the British are having about this female prime minister that they had that bowed out after like a month or whatever, and people are saying, well, she just did that to get the next guy basically running the show unelected. So we could have is like a Joe Biden Harris whatever situation where he just wins the whatever and then just bows out, and then you're stuck with what's her name.
Yeah, he's still there and not going anywhere, right? Like they keep I forget what they call it there when they don't have the election. But like I think Parliament votes first as to whether or not to have an election for prime minister. Isn't that how it works?
So the conspiracy theory is they had that planned all along, where she would, run, get elected, and then just bow out for this other guy.
You know that for a fact? You have evidence that this is what she planned, or it's just you
Well,
thinking?
no, that's what I'm saying. The conspiracy theory is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the problem with conspiracy theories is people get very attached to them without anything to back it up, other than that's just what sounds plausible to their brain.
And that's like kind of what happened. But yeah, I don't think there's any proof of that or anything, but it's just all the timing and the way it kind of went down is kind of the evidence for the conspiracy theory.
But that's not it. That's an odd standard of evidence. Like in philosophy and science, that's certainly not evidence. And even in legal practice, I don't know how much that would be evidence.
Probably not, because
it
most
would be
people
circumstantial
say
with anything.
Yeah, most people would say, well, that's just the way the cookie crumbled or whatever. But the conspiracy theorists, they have a field day with that whole thing.
Yeah, that's the part I understand is running with something that there's not really a lot of support for. Like it's the epistemology. Like I adopt my beliefs because they make sense or they correspond to reality, or I think I have reason to think that they do. And that is not why they adopt their beliefs. They're adopting them for reasons other than logical consistency or correspondence to reality. There's a psychological comfort they get in the belief or something, but I can't figure out what they're using to select that particular belief over others.
All the things you're saying they're not using.
Well, it's mostly, it's based out of a conspiracy itself, or theory is based out of a fear of some sort, kind of like I was talking with Uncle Fatty about last night. But a lot of it's based out of fear. So, but how far fetched would it be now to think that Biden, let's just say he runs and wins and whatever, and then after a month just bows out to hand the mantle over to what's her name, and that was the plan this whole election cycle anyway. Because it happened in Europe or over in Britain, it's not so far fetched to think that.
I thought we just said you don't have proof it happened in Britain. That is just
we don't have proof, but we saw what happened, and so why would it be a total insanity conspiracy theory to think that couldn't happen here?
Yeah, but the difficulty I run into is the probable versus the possible. It's possible for something like that, I suppose, to happen anywhere, but is it probable? Not to me. Not in Britain, not here in America. And so people that spend all this energy in scenarios that are not probable with very little evidence to give them reason to do that are curious to me. Like what's driving that if it's not reality based?
It is reality based.
Like, why would someone get attached to the idea that Joe Biden would
unrealistic?
get the president why would somebody?
The reality
why
is
would that appeal to someone for without reason?
Well, because
it's with reason.
Because of his age. That's the first thing.
It's perfectly realistic and reasonable.
But it's not leading me to to worry about the possibility that he might hand the president off to Kamala. I'm worried about his age specifically because I don't want a Kamala president. That scares me more than Joe Biden. So I have particular reason to worry about that. And I don't. It just sounds so far fetched that they would cook up this scheme to make Kamala president by having Biden pretend to run as president.
That's good.
If there was a reason to think that, I might think it, but just out of the blue for no reason to come up with that and then get attached to it is what's weird to me.
The attachment, I understand your argument, but I mean, we've even heard Joe Biden call her President Harris before.
I haven't.
She's
I don't really listen to Joe Biden a lot though.
I understand. He's hard
This
to
is what
listen
I'm
to.
trying to say, though. Like,
But if he
have no-
did say
if you have
President
no
Harris,
knowledge of anything that's going on,
do what?
you know, you have. It seems like
I
you
got
have
a
no
question.
knowledge
I don't
of any
need
of these
to get. I
topics.
have you here
I'd
to
like to
inform
ask,
me every
please.
day of what's going on. The
But you
lies that
talk
we're
like you're
told, the
so
reality.
certain.
Like, why do I need to go continue to misinform myself like I've been doing my whole life?
I got a question I'd like
I
to
have
ask.
you here to correct
But you don't even have the informed part down.
No, that's what you're here for.
But I'm not me,
like,
because
until I
you'll
met
never
you,
believe anything I
was
say.
doing it
Everything
all
I say
wrong
is
because I
bullshit.
wasn't getting the information. I was being lied to. So now that you're here, that's all over, and I could find.
But you're not being
I
lied
have
to. You've never
somebody
heard of
that-
it.
help me
Remember?
sort out the
I
truth.
got a
You don't know any of
question
these
I would
things.
like to ask, please. What is the definition for the word vice?
Vice, V-I-C-E,
Vice.
vice.
Some sort of
like-
degenerate behavior.
A practice or habit considered to be evil, degrading, or immoral, wicked or depraved conduct or habits, corruption. And then there's things like prostitution, selling illegal drugs, etc.
V-I-C-E?
V-I-C-E?
A vice chairman, vice president, or other
Oh, that
substitute
kind
or
of
deputy,
vice.
the
The
principal
Latin
or primary
prefix.
officer
All right.
being indicated by the context.
Like viceroy is basically, I think it's shortened for viceroy.
Someone who, it's a deputy.
Yeah.
It's somebody who takes the place of someone else.
Oh, talking like Viscount or something?
You mean like the conspiracy theory that's so implausible and hard to believe?
That's
The
why
very definition of the word.
I think where Jeff is
No,
coming
that's
from
not
when he's
the
talking
definition
about
of vice is not somebody who pretends to not run for an office while somebody else does and then takes that position. That's not what the prefix
What?
vice means. See, I think you want to believe, like you bend the facts to this like preconceived wish to believe this kind of stuff. It's like a reality distortion field.
It's probably half and half because
It's
And
we
then
saw
facts
what happened in
hit
Britain,
your brain
and
and they get
it comes
bent.
out every day. More and more, it comes out every day. The CIA, these documents showing
What?
that we were
When?
meddling
What?
in South
How come you
America.
can't
We
show
were
it to me?
meddling in all these
If
places.
more and more comes out every day, why can't you take the thing that came out today and show me that? You can't ever show me any of this stuff coming out.
But we do see some of it too because
Apparently, it's
we're
pouring out, but you
during the
can't
Freedom
show
of
me a
Information.
single little piece of it.
Well,
you
we
show
do-
him
we
that
do
single
see
little
more-
piece, watch all the excuses he has.
Well, show
It's
me.
a never-ending
You said
circle.
More and
It
more
will
every
get you
day. So
nowhere.
show me the last piece. that
Don't
came out.
believe him, freak. Don't waste your time. Trust me.
I'm
That's
asking
all right.
you.
I don't
Give me
mind.
what the-
You've heard of the Freedom of Information Act, you know, the FOIA, whatever, that we have the right to petition the government for documents and all that. Well, we didn't always have that, and there's a lot of organizations now that are doing that actively all over the place. And so we do find evidence, like, you know, Fauci lying about the origin of the outbreak and stuff like that. And so it's not necessarily conspiracy after a while because we actually have the documents in the form of his emails.
Well, that's the kind of stuff I'm asking for, but they can never. They insist that it's
Always.
there, but they
Never
can't show
means
it.
always.
It depends on the issue because it's half and half, and that's exactly the way
Well,
the CIA
the
or whoever
current
is
issue
sitting us wants
before
it.
us, from the person that wanted to move away from conspiracy theories, is this idea of Biden running just so Kamala could be.
You talking about me? That wasn't me.
No, I was just saying, you know, that is a potential scenario because
That was
of what
him.
happened. Because of
So
what happened.
again,
right?
that's not you're
But
saying that's
they-
not something you necessarily believe in. The Biden.
No, but that's a lot of Brits do.
All right.
A lot of
Then
Brits
I
think that that's what happened.
And my position on it was I don't believe it either, first of all. But it's not you made it out to be fantastical, unbelievable,
It does sound that way.
merely possible, and it's closer to business as usual. and you're unaware of how the business is done. And then when you're asked about it, you're like, no, I don't know about this. No, I don't know about this. No, I don't know about this.
Like more politicians.
So you're ignorant to how shit gets done in America, which is why you don't understand how plausible conspiracy theories are. Almost everything that happens is
Am I hearing you right? Are you hearing yourself?
I could hear myself while I was talking. Did you hear anything I said?
You said it's business as usual.
Yes.
The normal practice is for people to go in office so other people can be in office instead of them. That's usual.
Yeah, absolutely. Picking your successor, especially.
Yeah, we do not live in the same.
It's supposed to be a democratic process, but most of those things are predetermined. The party
says you. That's a claim. Now this is where you get to provide evidence for the claim instead of acting like a child and trying to use all these psychological tactics.
I just want you to stop talking over me and let me finish my opinion. I just want to finish stating my opinion.
Now. It's an opinion.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't have to have the same opinion as you without any.
It's my opinion that it's fact, and I would like to finish saying.
I appreciate that you shared your opinion. So
I didn't, though. You just interrupted me and demanded evidence, and now I don't even remember what I was going to say. So go ahead.
I was just waiting. I had asked for the evidence part. You made a claim, and then you said, "Oh, wait, actually, it's not. It's just an opinion."
I'm not your social studies teacher.
It's not a claim. You don't.
I'm not your social studies teacher, bro. I'm not going to teach you how government works.
But here's the thing: I don't fault Jeff for taking that position so much, because he's just living his life as any quote unquote normie would go about their day-to-day business. But when he's saying he's got you here to do that conspiracy stuff, that's actually kind of a compliment. So you kind of
but it's not true.
Well, what's not true?
He doesn't even hear the conspiracies.
This is I could write this.
He just interrupts me, talks over me, and demands evidence, and then scoffs at it, then mocks me, then does these makes passive aggressive comments about it before I come up and after I come up.
Not always.
There's never any actual acknowledgement that he's wrong about any of this stuff.
Like, this is happening. Oh, really? What's the evidence for that? Oh, here it is. I have this link right here.
The war crimes conversation is all I will ever need.
It's always claim.
I know where I am when I'm on this panel.
We don't let this country be known for its war crimes.
Oh, God.
Yeah, but when you outsource those
round
crimes,
10,
right?
What?
Like if you're talking about war crimes like waterboarding or something in Guantanamo, well, that's a third party agency. That's not our fault. That's the way they justify it anyway.
The CIA tortured people.
Yeah,
that's not a third party agency.
Well,
that's the United States government, and the president knew about it.
We don't. The United States doesn't have a government.
And then Obama gave that half-assed apology for it.
Yeah, and it was Nancy Pelosi who came up with the third-party agency hiring to do it, by the way.
Say again?
It was Nancy Pelosi's idea to have a third-party agency do the actual waterboarding for us, so that we had a plausible deniability out. And Gina Haspeth was...
It amazes me that y'all know all of this. But then I asked for sources, and it's...
that I'd have to dig it out, but I mean, it's pretty much known at the time that's what happened. Because
pretty much by people who pay attention.
Yeah,
then not pretty much known by people by
well known. It would be easy to find a source.
It's not pretty much well known.
It's so easily,
and it is easy to find a source.
She said it herself.
It just would be complete waste of time to do it for you. A complete waste of time. You don't give a fuck.
Yeah, like why do you
know that it happened though? He just doesn't know why.
You're here every day. Are you a masochist? You come here to make yourself miserable?
I'm not miserable. Why? Okay. I'm not miserable because I disagree with you about government.
Then I might just be reading things wrong.
Yes, I think you are.
You don't seem to be enjoying your time here.
Dude, I'm having a blast.
Okay.
Thanks for having me up.
So, all right, how about this? What do you think has happened in Ukraine or whatever, or who do you blame, or what should have happened, Jeff?
In Ukraine, I don't know anything about Ukraine. I purposely
Yeah.
didn't. I stopped following it after about 2 weeks. It
Gotcha.
stressed me out too much.
How about the fact that it wasn't but like 6 months after we left Krapistan before Joe Biden got us involved in Ukraine? Just the
I
timing
thought
of
that
that.
was
What do you think
Russia.
about that?
I thought Russia did that.
What was the question again?
The fact that it was like not but 6 or 9 months after we left Krapistan that Joe Biden's already fucking around in Europe again.
Well, I mean, Putin kind of did push it, start that button. He set that timetable.
I don't see how you could say it's Putin's fault because he wasn't.
He invaded a sovereign nation, bro. He set the timetable.
Well, all he was doing is protecting his back porch, Bay of Pigs.
Well,
I'm just saying, if the United States invaded Mexico, it would be our responsibility for that timetable.
Well, if they were gonna put nuclear warheads
He
in
nearly did.
or Guadalajara, we would
Our
probably have an interest in
United
making sure that
States
didn't
owns
happen.
Puerto Rico now. Because we nearly took over.
By the way, we already did that in Bay of Pigs in Cuba.
Mexico.
Yeah, you won't get the United States is any better than Russia argument out of me. My problem is that, especially among the people, not like Jeff. Jeff is immune here from this one. The people who will openly criticize the war crimes and conspiracy theories of the United States government, but Putin is just an okay dude. He's just doing what he's got to do.
Oh, it's
right?
not us.
It's just Biden. That's the
government.
But my problem with that is that
subversion.
It's not the question isn't are we the baddies? It's the point is everybody.
Policy.
I can't hear anything you're saying when I'm talking,
just
bro.
Got your ass kicked and you just tucked your tail and ran out of Krapistan. Why the fuck are you so anxious to get into war with Russia all of a sudden?
That's not how I That's not how I remember. You talking about us?
Yeah.
I don't remember like getting involved right away. I don't even know to what extent we're involved now.
It wasn't even a year after we left that we were already messing around in Ukraine and instigating and talking about NATO and everything else. All Joe Biden's fault.
I think it's a lot more complicated than that.
I think so too. I think there's way more nuance than is being.
Either way, Donald Trump would have had a deal because if you could make Hong Kong basically an autonomous nation within China and they had full access to all the world markets and all the world's financial banking system, you could have done the same thing in Ukraine and not had nukes installed.
People see one little thing over here, they see one little thing over here, they connect a few dots, and they have this big narrative going on, and it's very superficial. It's shallow. It's based on limited information.
Yeah, so why couldn't you give Ukraine full access to the world market and still not have nukes there? Why couldn't we have done that?
I don't mind that as like a first step at making sense of reality, but that's like all they do, and then they get attached to that initial cursory sense, and that becomes the theory, and then we end up in these conversations.
At this point, I think Zelensky and Putin are playing two-card Monte against Joe Biden, and the Ukraine is nothing but a giant slush fund for all their whatever they're going to do next.
It's not just a slush fund. I think it's supposed to be a quagmire too.
A quagmire, yeah. Quagmire. I haven't heard that.
It's Afghanistan Part 2.
The other night.
Or how do you say 2 in Ukrainian?
Hold on, I'll ask that right now. What is number 2 in Ukraine?
Probably Adolf.
Back from a search.
Dva. It's Afghanistan Part 2.
Oh, the music, the copyright. Be careful.
What is 2 in Ukraine?
Oh, I can ask the AI.
In Ukrainian, that's dva.
Dwa.
Translate back and forth.
I did say that.
Just keep speaking in either language.
And it's spelled
or
like
say
that.
cancel at any time.
Dwa. Dwa.
Afghanistan part dva.
Twat.
Dva.
Yeah. So look up how long. Look up how long between Afghanistan and Ukraine. I think it was like 6 months or 9 months.
That's what
I'm
bothers
talking
me.
about the
Afghanistan, and then we were suddenly. How are we involved in Ukraine? Do we have troops there? I honestly don't know. I do not keep up with the
Russia nor Ukraine.
You've heard of the NATO?
You have some trades with Russia.
Is NATO involved?
That's it.
Right. NATO
So when
is
you
the
say we should be
European
NATO
military installation that is supposed to guard Europe against the Russians, right? So that was established after World War II, so that basically Europe couldn't rearm because, ever since Europe has guns, they always end up killing each other and having world wars and everything else. So NATO was the military kind of organization that was set up there to protect them from the Russians. So NATO's been expanding further east into Europe, mostly as an economic force. But what ends up happening is those countries end up hosting a military base of ours, and that's what Russia didn't want.
When was this? What year was this?
When NATO? This is like
the
right after
military-
World War II.
Oh, so this is way back. This military base that Russia didn't want.
It's
From
ongoing.
years ago?
Yeah, I mean that's when
We signed an agreement with Ukraine and Russia that we wouldn't expand NATO, and we did a lot.
How are we involved in Ukraine?
We didn't.
Because the frig, it sounds like you think after we left Afghanistan, we should have just stayed home and not got involved in any more wars. And it bothers you that we
Right.
left Afghanistan and suddenly there's another conflict and now we have to figure out our
Right.
level of involvement, which makes
Yeah,
sense.
I would say that is how I feel.
It bothers
Joe Biden
me.
pushed the issue. Joe Biden was pushing NATO on Ukraine, and then
It
told him no.
bothers me
when
that I
they
get
actually-
called
I don't-
stupid by people on the internet when
I
I
don't know.
point out how the government is robbing us blind and using countries like Ukraine as a slush fund when like our infrastructure is falling apart and our neighborhoods are going to shit and our healthcare sucks. And
Well,
I think I have a lot more selfish reasons for being bothered.
What a way.
yeah, I'm just not sure that the thing you're bothered by is actually in reality. I think some of it might be in your
No, I know.
psychology.
If you're not sure,
I understand your perspective 100%.
always find them out on the internet.
And there's no coincidence between the fact that you don't know how any of these things work. You don't know any of the people, places, or facts or events involved. You don't know any of the history. And you also think that what I'm saying is completely unrealistic.
Single one of these things I don't know, you can't seem to provide the knowledge either. So I don't know what you're complaining
I'm
about.
telling you, I'm out loud with my mouth full. It's up to you whether or not you want to listen.
Jeff, if you want to figure these things out, you can always go to the internet and do your own
Nah, he's-
research.
Nah, he's not motivated to do that.
No, it's not that I'm not motivated. That's
Those are your words. Those were your
That
words.
you cannot
I'm
listen.
finding out from Denizen that I've been getting the wrong
That
information.
advice.
So I don't think I should continue to do it on my own because
Or
I'm
that
getting
you
lied to and
cannot.
misinformed.
Denizen.
Oh, well, if you had said that, I would have had an entirely different reaction.
Yeah, well, how about this?
Like if you had shown an earnest willingness to learn something new about something you don't know about,
There's like 5 or 6
Then-
screens right now of me asking you.
then what I would do is no, because I'm never going to do that. That's not a willingness to learn. You specifically said you didn't want to go learn. You want me to go give you proof, and then the proof is always not worth it. What I would do, my reaction would have been not to like give you citations and links or anything like that, because I'm not going to do your homework for you. If you showed a genuine interest in it, then I would tell you to take notes, and I would give you a list of like 5 to 10 things where you could start looking on your own. I have no idea what you're saying right now. All I can hear is myself. I'm done now. Go ahead.
All right. Hey, well, first of all, you already are doing the homework, but the question is, who do you trust more, Joe Biden or Denizen, Jeff?
Or who?
That's an excellent
Joe Biden
question.
or Denizen?
I don't have any way to evaluate Denizen's trust because he doesn't ever give me anything to evaluate. He makes a claim,
hours and
I ask him
hours
for
of
evidence for the
evaluate.
claim, and then he loops. So I don't have a way to even
Hours and hours.
I don't trust Denizen to give me the
You
information
can
I
always
need to
go on
decide
the
for myself.
internet
Even
and check out
Andrew.
research.
That's what I
don't
said
know
too.
if I trust
That
Biden to give me that information.
that was not a valid response, Andrew. That did
But
not work on him.
because the government has some kind of information request process
I don't know
that
what
Denizen
you
does
have a
not,
problem
I'm
with.
You got to understand something too.
Trusting
I think
He doesn't care. He's not
if
being.
he wanted to.
He doesn't care,
Give him some credit,
and he
please.
doesn't want to know. That's the ultimate truth. So even if you went and
whatever
didn't give him examples,
don't mind me. I'm just here
Yeah.
answering.
he's gonna dance around it just like he has on this stream and all the other streams.
It's not that he
Let me
doesn't
ask you a
care.
question.
He knows
It's just that
reality
showing-
better
Yeah.
than me. He knows
showing
me
How
better
good
better
are
than
you
he
at
would like.
checking the internet for your information?
What'd you say, Freak?
It's not that he doesn't care. It's just that it's not hitting him brass tacks in his day-to-day life, so he doesn't have a reason to
Of
care.
course it does. You know it does.
Well, inflation.
It hits all of us in our day-to-day lives. If you can't see it, you're not paying attention.
Listen, that freak.
Mine
Please.
There's a lot of normies. There's a lot of normies that aren't affected by Ukraine at all. You know,
Oh, bullshit. Nobody's not buying food.
that has to deal with the oil supply, in my opinion.
And why is the oil supply
that we
interrupted
need
right
a
now?
But there's
Fine.
nothing you're not going to complain about. there.
Petrol.
You're like Neurojack. If it's not going to one thing, it's going to be something else.
Now it's
This
just
whole
complaining from the
chain
guy
of
who
events.
80 seconds ago genuinely wanted to learn the truth.
I gave you every opportunity, not even today, but on other streams, to give me the truth, and you haven't yet. So
That's all I
all
ever
recorded-
say
all
out loud
recorded.
is my truth is the truth is how I see it,
all
sir.
recorded. So
That's all that ever comes out of my mouth.
They're
Every
all-
once in a while, I make a joke here or there, and I'm being deliberately sarcastic. But most of the time, what I say is what I think is the truth.
Okay. Yeah. Well, good. If that's true, you won't have any problem finding people to agree with you when they watch the stream.
I think I just disagree with
I don't
you
think
on-
that's how it works. I think most people are stupid and ignorant. So finding a lot of people to agree with me is not going to work. Most people are programmed and oblivious to it. The vast majority of people don't care, it doesn't concern them. On the hierarchy of needs, they don't even contemplate the things that I think about for fun. So I don't find any evidence in your claim that most people will believe things. Most people in America believe Elvis is still alive. Most people in America think angels are real. So the most people think argument doesn't hold water with me.
People in the music tend to do that a lot.
Most people just don't have the time to keep up with all the information overload anymore, too. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
That is true. That's
Yeah, shit, even I tapped out.
so unless it's something that's really affecting Jeff directly, he's going to be skeptical.
It does, though.
In Ukraine, no, it does not. I bought food today. I was fine. I didn't think about Ukraine one time.
I know you didn't think about it. You didn't think about how it was 30% more expensive than it was
No,
3
you know
years
what
ago.
happened though? I put
And you didn't
something
think
in
about
my-
how it was
I read the shelf
80%
tag
more
wrong,
expensive than it was when you were a
and I
kid.
put something in my
You don't
basket
think about those things.
cheaper than it actually turned out to be because I read the shelf tag wrong, and I got there to the checkout, and it ended up being way more than I had originally thought, and I was irritated at myself for not catching it. I even tried to go back and like swap it out and everything, but the line was building up. So that did happen at the food thing today and did irritate me. But it had nothing to do with Ukraine. It was my own carelessness.
You know what Andrew was.
Other than that, I was very happy with the prices and the value, the bargain I got.
200?
They had some digital coupons that I got to use. So no, Ukraine was not an issue with my grocery shopping today. I was the issue.
You know they found.
You know what's
cocaine in the
crazy?
White House.
Went up 200%. over the last 10 to 20
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
4,000% from
Yeah.
when I guess when Jeff might have been a child.
Yeah, like a baby. Yeah.
I remember prices, old timey price. I remember how much. I remember you could go to the
Old-timey
store with a
prices.
quarter and come home with a pocket full of candy. And I remember grew up watching The Price is Right, so I remember the price of all the things cost.
So
man.
when I noticed that Americans are working harder and harder, being more productive, more people are working, and we're getting less out of all of that, I asked myself why, and I start to look into it.
You might be. The people I know that are doing it are getting less out. They have good jobs they're happy with.
Footsteps are different today.
So when you describe this most people scenario, and then I think of all the most people in my life, it doesn't match what you're doing.
What I do though is I'm not going off of anecdotal evidence. What I do is I look at Department of Labor statistics, and that's what I base my presumptions on.
Okay, but the statistics are not 100%.
For sure.
There's people out there that are working happily and happy with their lives and all that.
Yeah, so what?
Oh, be careful with that, Andrew, because somebody could snatch your identity.
The normies, all they hear is the government telling them it's all C-19 fault. You know, they don't look at oil supply.
This is what it looks like today. These are my numbers right here.
And we're keeping the oil.
Chuck, I'm not seeing these price differences, but this would definitely make me do a double take.
And I'm in California.
Oh yeah, that's happened here.
It's
$10 for a 12-pack of soda here.
Wow.
$10? Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
That's better than California. Yeah. Are you talking about cans or bottles?
Yeah, cans. And California would be even more expensive. So would bottles. Yeah. Yeah.
You can't even use food stamps to buy those ones in California. Yeah, at least where I'm at. Alcohol is alcohol.
I wonder why it jumped up so much in those few months ago. He said months ago.
Yeah, months.
Biden's been in for 4 years, so it's
almost 100% food inflation in a matter of months.
Wow.
In California, it's about 300.
But we're doing okay. Don't worry about it. The economy's fine for most people, so I've been told.
Well, the numbers I've been looking at and the economists I've been following and my own life, I think we've recovered marvelously well from COVID.
It's going to take decades before we realize
well, that's your subjective.
The amount of
mine is different.
I don't think so. I think that whenever 100 million people die in the world, that due to whatever causes it, it takes a while for the math to
enjoy your weekend
to level itself out. Yet to see the amount of mental health problems and economic problems that the shutdowns caused, yet to manifest itself.
Tell me that. Who is that?
We don't even. That's Stubbs. That's Texas barbecue sauce.
How come
he's your real dad?
We had to give up Aunt Jemima, but we still get to keep Stubbs
because he's from Texas.
Giving up Aunt Jemima? Aunt Jemima and Stubbs were the married couple.
Or is it?
And they were agriculturalists.
You still get to keep her?
We got people talking about how we're almost completely recovered from a thing that we haven't even finished being hurt by yet.
I'm almost completely recovered. I don't know what. That's what I'm saying. You are having a different experience.
It's not my personal experience. You can keep saying it over and over again, and it's not going to happen.
Well, now
you may convince yourself of that. You may convince many people in the audience, but you're not going to convince me.
Here's a brass tacks issue for Jeff. How about
COVID was the best thing that ever happened to me economically.
Have you seen any jab scenarios where the jab is caused?
It was a recession.
Wait, I want to hear the freak's question. Hang on, go ahead.
Have you seen any of the jab documentaries or whatever that showing that jab injury?
Careful.
Can I hear a question, sir? Please, thank you.
Have you seen any of the, like YouTubes or anything at all about the jab injuries? And what do you think about that? Seeing how
No,
you've had
I
a
have
jab.
not. I have not seen them, so I have no opinion on it. I
Have
know
you heard
that
about like
traces his vertigo to the jab.
the heart conditions and the whatever I can't even remember because I
Oh
didn't take
yeah.
it. Yeah, like the health conditions that have happened, the actual injuries that some people have had, which
I've had a friend, very healthy, very young, and I knew him for years. He was still very young. I'm 40. He took the initial 2 of them, and he just passed away early last year.
Oh no!
From what?
Can't talk about that on YouTube.
Taking vaccinations. Nope, they're inoculations. I was going to wait until
Can get struck for that.
it was
What did he
actually
pass away from?
pathetic. It is not. There is reproduction in those cells to this day and multiple variants. Even the first variant is nothing compared to what they made. They don't want to allow the people to know that it is not safe to take. They want to throw it on
Well,
everybody.
this is an entertainment channel. Don't rely on us for medical information. None of us are experts.
Oh no, I'm not relying on that. I'm just letting people know
The vaccine is safe and effective.
Nope.
And it reduces your transmission.
It was. For me, it was. For most of the people I know that took it, it was.
How do you know?
Vaccines are always going to have side effects for
on
some
the
people.
internet.
I don't think anyone ever expected a 100% perfectly safe, no side effect ever for any one vaccine.
It's a long way from there are no side effects. Just a couple of years ago.
I didn't.
Why did
when I took the vaccine and I did the one where you had to go twice, I had to go 2 times. They make you sign a big old list of paper of all the side effects that you are acknowledging that you have been informed of all of these side effects.
You read that?
I had to sign a paper twice. Each time I went, you had to sign.
You read the side effects?
Documents. I looked over them. Yep.
Was myocarditis in there?
You could talk to the nurse, and if you had any questions too, they could.
Was myocarditis in there?
I might have been. I don't know. I don't remember.
If it was, would you have still taken it?
Mm-hmm. It might have been in there. I don't know. None of the side
what difference does it make if you like signing it? Doesn't mean anything. It's like when you agree to YouTube terms of service, nobody reads it.
Oh, I'm talking about non-disclosure. It sounds like.
Yeah, but your claim was that people didn't know about the side effects, and I'm saying when I went to get the vaccine.
No, my claim was that people said there were no side effects.
I was informed extensively, and I had to sign
people
and acknowledge that I was informed.
They routinely claimed there were no side effects.
That we were not told was not true in my
no serious side effects. I don't know what list you were looking at, but I'm talking about the CDC saying there was no serious side effects, the news saying there was no serious side effects, the president saying there was no serious side effects, Dr. Fauci saying there was no serious side effects.
Hello, Denizen.
That's what I'm talking about.
You take the
No, I've never taken any vaccine in my life.
Well,
my mother lied when I was a kid, said we were Mennonites, got a religious exemption.
I'm glad that you haven't had any problems with it, Jeff, and you haven't had any problems, and that I think that you had a fair assessment.
Can identify in any way that they want. This is the United States of America. And if she identified as a Mennonite, then she can be considered a Mennonite. If
a Mennonite,
you identify yourself in Denmark,
a Mennonite,
Denmark in America when you're born. in America.
It was a lot easier. That was the 80s, too. It was a lot easier to get away with not doing government-regulated shit. You know, most of the authoritarianism in those days was just a wink
Is
and a
that what
handshake.
bothers you, like having to live in a society with other humans and organize?
Give her that.
ourselves?
I like how you put that.
Wait, what was the question?
It was
He thinks that if
seems
you don't
like
sign on to all of
like,
America's
oh,
authoritarianism, you don't like living with other humans.
he's complaining about the authoritarianism of bureaucracy. I don't like bureaucracy either, but I
Dude,
understand.
if ever I start to wonder if there's some weird, vast fucking conspiracy controlling like all like the reptilians or some shit like this, just remind me of these panels because it is not necessary. All that has to happen for shit to be as fucked up as it is right now and for people to be as oblivious to it is just normal people being normal people.
Hey, Denizen.
You keep me grounded, Jeff. Thank you. You keep me grounded.
That's the case because
so good
people are just trying to work, earn a living, pay their mortgage, and have sex.
What, Andrew? Can I see your bear?
What, this one?
Yeah,
It's a Frozen.
a frozen.
Build-A-Bear. I have Build-A-Bears, and I
I love Build-A-Bear.
have
Jerry Springer.
And something else that I have, I'll grab it right now. Hold on for a second. I'll just move over and get this thing. I have my
Uh-oh.
Bugaboo.
I thought we were about to get porn bombed.
That looks like a
No.
Pokemon.
Oh,
thing.
I don't play that kind of game.
What is
Not
that?
on YouTube. They would.
So you gotta hit me up on Kick for that.
No, well,
Doesn't that? How is that not a Pokemon? What is that?
it's
It's definitely Japanese.
a giant fuzzy animal. Hug them. Okay, so it's a squishable.
Oh, okay.
Well, you know what that is?
Never heard of them.
It's a squishable, not a squishamall.
Looks like something my ex-wife would have had.
Bravest Warriors cat bug squishable. This is one of the ones everybody wants. I don't care.
Does it have powers?
Then I go to sleep at night like this.
Man, Andrew has the most comfortable little nook of.
I will pull this thing down when I go to sleep, and I'll just
Nice.
yeah.
You definitely have Cecil beat.
I have a what?
I said you definitely have Cecil beat.
Cecil. Oh man, I like Cecil. I think I know him from one of the.
Well, did we get everything out of our system?
Oh yeah, there's a guy I know
Party.
from a friend of mine. Her name is Cynthia No Filter. Lives in Los Angeles, down in California. Yeah, and
What is it?
a guy that I know goes by the name Bryce. If any of y'all ever watched his, I think he has a channel.
Rice, R-I-C.
Bryce, B-R-Y-C-E.
I don't think so. Not for myself.
Why do I feel like he's about to tell us where there's some hidden treasure?
I don't know anything about hidden treasures or anything. I get what I can, and I make sure I have what I need. I have
Well, we're gonna go thrifting with Cynthia and Chris one day soon.
Oh, nice. What is it?
Treasure.
And
Is that a coffee machine?
Where are you? Is that a camper?
Is that a coffee machine?
That yes.
Holy smokes, that's a big one.
He's got a compound.
This man likes his coffee.
Thrift shops. You go to thrift shops. I went and bought that one at a Goodwill on a Thursday. Okay, so anybody that goes to Goodwill, check out Thursday's tag deals. They're $2 each when you go and buy
See, I told you.
that
I
one.
told you he had
That
it.
whole thing was $2.
I didn't need to afford it. I just bought it for $2.
Dang.
And I have it. I've had it for over a year.
I can't wait for our thrifting episode.
I was gonna say, how the heck did he know it was a Thursday?
Gatekeeping?
Yeah, you should go and do.
Maybe I will. We have thrift stores around here.
He knows it was Thursday because that's Thursday tag day.
Right.
Ooh,
Hey, I'm gonna
yeah.
have to razz
Color of
you
the
for not coming on.
Best to get them around color of the week. You'll get what you need and
I
have
wonder
what
if they have
Well, that
podcasts
sounds
again.
racist.
you can.
So Cynthia didn't show up, huh?
She no, her son ended up showing up, so she
Well, she was
wanted to
hungry
spend time
this
with him.
morning. She made some things, so she was getting ready to go out.
Is it me
What
or
we're
is
gonna
Jeff
do-
like turning white and red, like there's a light in his room or something?
Yeah, the tone keeps changing.
Oh, me,
Okay.
I know my camera does that for some
This
reason.
light right here.
I was in the chat the other day trying to figure out if it was me or him, and I was going crazy.
That's just the outside.
Why do you
Anybody
have a
who
Forrest
sees
Gump
mountains
as your
Get a real
profile
camera. I'm still
picture?
using my laptop camera.
Have any of y'all ever seen mountains before? Or hills, large hills?
Yeah, I see him right now outside my window.
He's seen them. How about you, Da Freak? Have you ever seen mountains before?
Yeah, I live in Arizona.
Oh, that's right. Arizona has all the good mountains. Denizen, have you ever seen mountains before?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so unplug this for now. I will.
That looks like
They're
Arizona.
that far away.
Are you in Nevada?
It's California.
Where you're in California?
California.
Cool.
Nice.
What do you think about
If
Gavin
I
Newsom?
go down Johnson Valley, past Johnson Valley, I could be going out to where the Sonoran and the Mojave meet. Have any of y'all ever been out that way before?
Yeah.
Like,
I've been in the
Palms?
Mojave. I've been to Death Valley. I've hiked in the
Low
Mojave.
desert. It's the low desert below sea level.
No.
It's
I
the
don't think you're below
lowest
sea
point
level.
in the
It's
world.
one of my favorite places.
It's the lowest point in the world.
That'd be the
I
Dead
mean,
Sea.
with land below the sea level. Mariana Trench is the second lowest today, considering.
Interesting.
There's another one that goes deeper.
So, Denizen, why do you have Forrest Gump as your profile pic?
Because I like Forrest Gump.
Really?
Did you know that the actual person that depicted off
call
of
me
was
Forrest Gump.
African or
I
black?
often relate to Forrest in this particular scene too when I'm on panels on YouTube.
Are you
Well,
Forrest or
why
are
am I
you,
not
association
are you Forrest or are you the old lady?
and where Forrest Gump was adapted.
I think he's Gary Sinise. though.
Gary
I'm
Sinise
neither,
was
but
Dan
I
Taylor
can relate to Forrest's experience.
because he was
Cult. What's tell
inspired
us?
by Dan Taylor, or what the name was.
Lieutenant Dan.
Well, there was an actual Lieutenant Dan Taylor. Lieutenant Dan, the Lieutenant Taylor was lead for
Cult.
that was.
What's the conspiracy behind the panel scene?
What's a panel scene?
I guess the panel verse, like all these live streamers.
Life
Oh,
was
panel scene.
like
Gotcha.
a box of chocolates. You never
Why
know
can't
what
you?
you're gonna get.
No, like, you're creating the
You
conspiracy.
run
You're fucking with me right now.
over or chase down and having to run.
I think we have a
super-
live conspiracy in the making.
I
The singularity
wonder
has
if
already
Usain
occurred.
Bolt was the son of the actual
The Matrix has
guy
you.
Forrest Gump was depicted as.
If there's a conspiracy, and I've heard rumors too from like little troll brigade groups and stuff. But if there's some kind of conspiracy, if the Panelverse itself is a conspiracy, I am not part. Nobody's come to me and enlisted me in anything. This is just
you don't
me.
even go on panels anymore.
Turn on my camera, on my channel, and this is like a one-man operation that I open
Ever
up
since
for
you
other
started
people.
the show, you don't go on panels anymore.
No, they all got weird. Like when that planet hit Uranus or whatever, and everybody started, like, machines started to get weird. Flow started to get weird. Talcott is
Uranus is the lucky planet.
spiraling. My mental health instincts are.
Did you know the number
very
of planets
good.
we have in our solar
COVID,
system?
baby.
Stay away from
Uranus is the lucky planet.
Uranus. Uranus. I say Uranus.
Luck of the I'm sorry.
I know they keep it. Okay, here's the deal with I have a laptop camera, and when the lighting is a certain way, it's like it can't find it can't like find its setting to stabilize, and so it keeps trying to flash between different
Calibrates due to the
like pink and red and orange, trying to find the right lighting, and I don't know what makes it do that.
Same thing here.
Eventually, when we
contrast.
monetize and have a budget and everything, I plan to upgrade to some decent equipment. But until then,
Panelverse, drama, conspiracy theory, contractual, cross agency, quad agent. That's what we've got.
I would be much more interested in a
matter of who's
Panelverse
the bad guy.
conspiracy.
It's just a matter of who's the bad guy at this particular moment. That's the most important thing.
I'm a bad guy. I'm a bad guy.
There's no such thing as the good guys.
Yeah, I think there are.
Okay. There's no such thing as the good guy. There is such thing as the bad guy. Is there such thing
All
as
right,
the
Dan, I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to ask you this one thing. What's your relationship with therapy?
My relationship with it?
Do you currently have services or therapists? Have you in the past worked with a therapist?
Yes.
Any kind of mental health services?
Good question.
Yes.
Okay.
And my answer to his question is supported living.
That's what helps you? You have like a team?
I go out whenever I need to go out and someone drives me places. Just moved out where I'm at. I've been here since New Year, practically. And I've been helping an old man out. He's my dad.
Do you have a transportation?
We are watching over a hoop house or a greenhouse. It used to be a non-cannabis farm.
And now it's cannabis?
But there's an owner. We were affiliated with the owner in the past, and I'm here watching. I have to keep watch over surveillance. Okay, so y'all saw me with my coffee pot. I also have that.
Is that a security cam?
I watch over the area where I'm at to make sure there are no stragglers.
Farm and not a
It can
non-cannabis
become
farm.
dangerous during the nighttime. Those
Yes.
turn to night vision whenever, and I'm able to see whatever I need to see.
Have you caught anything yet? Like, is there danger?
Oh, a couple times. People trying to come over to here, and I have my eyes open.
So now it was a non-cannabis farm, and now it's a cannabis farm, or that's still illegal in California?
No, it's decommissioned. The
Okay.
area that we're at is decommissioned completely.
Oh.
I mean, we're taking down the hoop houses out here where me and my dad, we put up irrigation system in there. Me and my dad
Probably not easy to get a permit for that.
put it over here next,
Keep going.
and running water is good. And I want to personally put up nursery farms out here, start growing crops. I
There
mean,
you go.
California, y'all know that the United States is a consumerist country now, right? We had stuff.
It's been as long as I've been a part of it.
farms, and we don't have anything today. I want to put up stuff. I just want to start growing crops and opening up storehouses out here.
Opening up what?
Storehouses.
Storehouses. Okay.
Because we need stuff and people need things.
Well,
in order for this country to survive the next war.
If SHIT hits the fan, you're going to want some food around.
Make sure that we have what we have and there's nobody trying to steal it for themselves. No malicious content, I mean, at least.
Say, are you guys there water supplied by the Lake Mead and, the dam and, that dam there, Hoover Dam?
We have canals out where we're at in the high desert. I'm just going to mention it's in the high desert of California.
So, like, the Colorado River is supplying the water there, eventually, from the top.
We're next to the Mojave and Victorville. Colorado is just, I don't know where exactly the Colorado runs out this far. I mean, we're not far out from a city called Barstow, but...
Oh, yeah, I know where Barstow is.
Yeah, I'm just about this way from it, and we are north of Big Bear, just right north of Big Bear, where we are. Some of the water runs down. Some of the areas flood. You'll see water over the clay soil. Just a lot of area out here where me and my dad are. We're in the middle of nowhere, but it is somewhere good.
Hey, Denizen, are you still there?
Yeah.
I'll see if we can try and clear some stuff up on free will if you want to. Jeff probably's getting anxious to shut down.
No, that's the topic he complained that we won't shut up about, even though he's the one that...
I just want to clarify, some people
I'm
say
not the one that brings it up.
There's no free will because of, some God or because
there is free will, even if
your position is because it's the lies of the government or if it's something like, tangible on earth or something. As to why we don't have, pure
I don't think there has to be something or someone making your decisions for you not to have free will in the way that it's defined.
So you do believe in free will and a mind's agency, unlike that guy Steve.
Brainwash only influences in community basis. We have a bystander effect about us. That's the brainwash portion
of all the projections we have into the free will illusion. Agency is probably the most grounded in reality, but where agency becomes tricky for most people who subscribe to free will, in my experience from talking to them and asking them, is they they're unaware of the projection of their own ego. So the I and the me and the you that they think has the agency is a mere projection.
How does that work though?
It is what we perceive as
So you
what
do want to talk
we
about
are.
free will?
I always want to talk about free will. I never said I didn't.
You didn't about
Jeff.
2 hours ago.
I said you brought it up.
It's all on stream once again. So
So you say that the
Agency
agency.
in the discussion come with free will, and they also come in brainwash.
is part of your argument against free will is that the self or the ego is an illusion to begin with?
Ego is not an illusion. Otherwise, cops will not retaliate against us.
How can
Filming
you
in public.
subscribe to the agency as being the most based in reality, and then say that you don't have free will?
He has a point though. Like I would agree with what you said, Jeff, but it is a projection, and these things are very real. Like I've said before, I'm a strong anti-theist, but I believe God is real. You know, just because God is man-made fiction doesn't mean it doesn't actually act upon the universe in a way that is meaningful, that actually has real outcomes. Same thing goes with our projections of our ego and our illusion that we have free will. Yes, Andrew.
Hello.
But how can you subscribe to the agency argument and say that you don't have free will?
That doesn't exist than to not believe in something that could actually exist.
Say again, Andrew?
It is better to believe in something that doesn't exist than to risk not believing in something that could actually exist.
I don't find any evidence of that. I find that if I refuse to believe either, I come out better off either way. What did you say at the same? Freak, you were saying something in response to that at the same time, and then I'll get to where old Joe is unaware of how wrong he is.
I was saying, how can you subscribe?
No, I was thinking old Joe is noticing the same thing.
Say that there's
he is noticing. Hold on, Freak. He is noticing the same thing. You're both wrong.
He's noticing.
Freak, repeat yourself again.
Anybody can notice if they go back and watch the streams, because if
they go back and watch the stream, you'll see that I never said that I don't like to talk about free will or that I didn't want to talk about free will.
Oh, you say that you want to talk about free will all the time.
I said it would. I do, yes. And I said that I wasn't the one who brought it up.
On the chat, no, you're talking about free wills. And
yeah, I talk about free will everywhere I go, and it's because once the subject comes up, people can't stop
free will.
I can.
They can't stop interrogating me over my position.
Every time I've been on panel.
Yep.
Maybe Jeff will get Jeff. He was out Jeffing Jeff.
I appreciate that, Andrew, because that's my experience as well, sir. So
we all have free will. We all have an opinion.
So for the fourth time to Freak, and I really did want to hear it the other 3 times. Can you repeat what you were saying, please?
So how could you subscribe to the agency argument and then say there's no free will?
Well, I think I explained that.
Old Joe.
Let's not get too carried away with these assertions too, right? Because from my perspective, how I would say it when I'm not in a rhetorical corner is I see no evidence for free will being anything more than a projection. And that comes from, and I was convinced of that position by emerging science and by investigation. My base mode was to believe wholeheartedly in free will, religiously believe in it.
Denizen. Science involves witnessing.
I don't know that my will is not free.
And a projection is something that necessarily exists.
Say again, Freak.
Part of science is witnessing, and if you're witnessed, you exist, but not projection isn't necessarily something that exists. So
that's true.
For you to break it down to an ego projection is false because you're actually witnessed.
Denizen.
Your conclusion isn't supported by your premise, and I never said we're not real. Denizen. Right, so existing. Hold on, Andrew. Existing.
I'm sorry. Explain the ego projection then.
A projection.
Merely existing doesn't predetermine the necessity for a free will. That's first of all.
That.
Yeah, and whether or not your ego is a projection also is not mutually exclusive from you being a witness. You could experience yourself subjectively, which is what the evidence leans toward.
But the witness of other people is what validates your existence.
Either way, if I gave you that and we were looking for proof of free will, you'd still be holding an empty sack.
Denizen.
Yes, sir.
You were talking about free wills being a projection. I could have the same argument with my will being bound as a projection. It's a matter of a person's perspective.
For sure. Yeah.
Plus, we're all in the same boat in that regard. So the argument, the argument is kind of it's a stunted. It's a cap. It doesn't expand on. It limits your processing to actually figure out what the heck is going on.
I disagree entirely.
In that,
once you realize your ego is a projection and that you're experiencing your own choices subjectively, it opens up a whole other universe of possibilities.
Oh, most of the thought, but
possibilities to what? You can't choose anything.
Law enforcement,
sure you can.
Is that their will is bound, and they
just not free to choose.
I'm not desperate. Yeah, I'm not desperately
they like to.
I'm not dogmatically dependent on this idea of freedom or on the idea of agency. They're just not that important to me anymore.
So what is it a projection of?
I hope that it's not. If you have,
I don't know because there's nothing there, right? We don't understand. I would say that it's the gap between your intention, your action, and the consequences. That's where we fill in. And yes, I can see your comments.
Denizen, I hope you believe that your projection of ego is good. For you. I hope you think that your projection of ego is a good thing.
I'm uncomfortable with the word good, but I'm a very optimistic person, and acceptance is the name of the game, Andrew.
Then you have an open mind, which means your ego is, in fact,
pliable.
Ego.
It's pliable for sure. Yes, sir.
I agree with that, but how can you say that once you realize that you don't have that particular form of free will, that it opens up a whole new world of whatever, when you yourself said that you don't know at the end? What did it really open up for you?
Awareness.
The good work.
Awareness, and then when I have awareness, I'm able to take space in my mind.
That makes sense.
Should I obtain consent before?
It's a nice, warm and fuzzy feeling, Joe. But what are you asking me? Do I believe in the concept? Do I believe it exists?
How do you square it with not having free will?
You don't have to have free. Free is not a.
So it's not will that you have. It's the freedom, like the degree of freedom that the will actually has.
Yeah, and also the word free in free will is it's well utilized. Part of it is independence. So independent will, I also don't believe in. But again, that's why I don't believe in free will.
You could technically say that since you have biological needs you aren't actually free in some sense. You have to eat or you will die, and so you
Sure, coercion.
Right, that's
will.
why
You
it's
have to breathe or your
relative
face will turn blue.
degree of freedom.
You have to
Coercion is the way of things,
or else
not freedom. And
part
in
of
the
your body will rot.
in the objectively moral and ethical way in which you're referring to the concept of consent, Joe, no. I would have to conclude it doesn't exist. That's not up to me either. You would obviously agree that if it does exist, it's certainly not adhered to.
Why do
people
we have
people do
discussions
things
like
without the
this,
consent of
Denizen?
others? You know, we make a habit out of doing things without the consent of
Is
others.
old man old Joe?
Denizen,
Yeah.
why do we have clashes in discussion while on panel? Do you really think that free will is not subjective?
I do think it's subjective. Not to overgeneralize your overgeneralized question, but let's say for this topic,
be free will if it wasn't subjective.
Hey, do you guys mind if I jump in here? Do you guys mind? Because I got to get again. I just have a. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Clear.
But Denizen, I want to clarify the question, because even determinists will grant this point that I'm asking you about, and I think it may be some confusion on your part around free will and what it means. Consent is built into our law. It's how we operate in an everyday fashion. In other words, I can't do something to somebody else from a moral perspective. You could pick any example, take money from them, touch them, without their consent. Would you agree with that?
No, that's clearly not true.
Why not?
That's free.
Why do not? I mean, people do things again without the consent of others all the time.
Would I be violating any code of morality that you subscribe to if I were to come and evict you from your home and live there without your consent, if I were to do so physically?
That I subscribe to?
What would I be doing something wrong if I came down with 5 of my buddies and threw you out of your house without any compensation and lived there? Would I be doing anything wrong in that case?
Do a favor.
That's wrong is above my pay grade.
Okay, so this is where Gen X Jeff is accurate in how he describes your willingness to have an authentic discussion, because we both know what the answer to that question is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry you don't understand where I'm coming from.
But the problem,
it's kind of insulting, though, to take your ignorance and turn it into my disingenuousness, though.
If I were to do that,
it's kind of insulting.
If I were to do that, if I were to literally do
that I was talking about in free will.
Yeah, and Andrew, I'm going to
jump offended.
Free will.
I'm going to write a letter.
Quickly, but
that's some clever stuff.
The manager around here.
I just want everybody on the panel to see that we would all agree that if I were to actually do that,
freedom is a bumper sticker.
What I just suggested would do, if I were to actually go do that,
you have the bumper sticker on your back end.
That was immoral for me to do. He wouldn't have any doubt about that. So the question,
what does that have to do with free will? Yeah, what is my subjective idea of morality, which I didn't want to have a conversation about, have to do with free will?
Yeah, I know, but how do
and then I'd love for you to get from that to proving how I'm not willing to have an honest conversation. Well, that's going to be my favorite part.
Sure, if you give me 3 minutes or less, give me a minute and I'll do it. Okay, my position is this, whether you admit it or not. Were I to...
Oh, well, that's convenient.
Okay, but the thing is, you got to let me finish, because otherwise I can't get the point out.
Yeah.
You'll finish.
Dan, let him finish.
I won't stop. I'm not stopping him.
Yeah, right, and there's an underlying theme. Like, the more I hear Gen X Jeff speak, the more I like the things he says, to be quite honest. He talks about why people think the way they do, and that's the interesting point. So let me make 2 points. One, I know you would object you would go appeal to the authorities on my entering your home or harming a member of your family, and you would expect them to intervene because you would tell them that it was wrong to do so. Now, whether you want to admit that or not, my question around free will is, how can consent exist, which our law is based on, in a world absent of free will? Even the determinists that have thought about this will agree that they must act as if free will exists because it's convenient for them to do so. The second question before I go off, if you don't like having these discussions, why are you here doing it? That's the question. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Thank you.
Oh, you're not going to wait for my response?
Well, I can
Oh,
see
yeah,
I'm not going to
there's
give it
a
then.
response from YouTube.
Thanks for your criticisms. I'll take it under consideration.
No, I'm listening to your response. I'm just going to turn off. I got it on my TV. It's not like I'm ignoring you.
You're just piecing out.
Yeah, well, because those are my 2 points.
After you said I was a liar.
The panel discussion is awesome. No, I'm not running.
I guess if you can keep your little white dot around for him to talk to while he responds.
Okay, sure. I'll do that.
Yeah. All right, the floor is yours.
Big egg. I got a big egg right here.
2 very good questions. This is your chance. Ooh, okay.
Come on, Denizen.
I don't think anyone here would say that Denizen is not an intelligent man by any means. But
did he leave?
He must have dropped out.
Yeah, but he just pretended like he wanted to have a conversation that he froze on when it was time to have it.
So I got to respond real quick because I have to go too.
Okay.
I wouldn't appeal to authorities. That's not how I roll. I don't believe they would help.
I'm sorry,
So
your microphone's cutting out. Say that part again.
I would not appeal to.
There we go.
That's
Is that better?
Authority.
Yeah. So I wouldn't appeal to authorities. That's not how I roll. I don't believe they would help me otherwise. And whether or not I would feel personally wronged by someone brutalizing me and taking all my shit doesn't have anything to do with my position on free will or any of the stuff that I said. And I don't necessarily prescribe to the notion that laws should exist in the way that they do. Part of the reason why I bring up these issues on free will is because we should closely examine the crime and punishment system and consider our perspectives on there when it comes to these things. And I think we could have more positive outcomes if we did. Also, as I've stated on these streams for years, there's hundreds of episodes of me discussing this topic, including in this stream. You could presume you have free will all you want if you want it to have laws. And I would also submit that acknowledging that it's a projection also wouldn't do anything to suffer that. There's no reason why we can't believe in values that are maybe transcendent and not necessarily grounded in objective reality. And I do have to go. So
okay,
you seem like you want to rebut that a little.
And you're contradicting yourself every other sentence.
Go ahead,
I think
Jeff.
that would be a much more interesting conversation to have.
Okay.
You do believe
that hopefully
part of the only point about having to act as if you have free will, even if maybe technically you don't. So we can address those.
I'll be around. I love this panel and I
free will.
I'd say I love you too, Jeff, but I don't want you to not believe me when I say it. So I'll just say I like you very much. And thanks for the conversation, guys. Andrew, it was good to talk to you again, actually. And DeFreak, I hope to speak to you again soon. And I don't know if you guys would be live. I might be back in a little while, but right now I have to work.
Have a wonderful day. I hope you keep your free will.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks. All right. I guess we can wrap it up unless anyone else has anything else they want to throw out.
Hey, Andrew, are you a believer?
I believe in something that might not be real, but I'd rather risk that and
my favorite answer yet.
Have it present itself in truth.
Cool. That's all I got.
All righty. Well, have a good rest of your day, your weekend, your Saturday. And peace out. And we'll be here tomorrow.
Take care. Stay simple. And I'll catch y'all again on the flip side.
Okay. And there's probably panels Saturday. There's usually streams happening. Let's see if there's anything going on now. Talcott is probably on. Yep. Jesse, the missing link. There will probably be other panels in the evening. Machine streams tonight, I think. Yeah, I don't think he thinks there, but I mean, I don't think he thinks that. All the interlocutors we've had on this stream before, he's not even close to people that are wanting conversations that they shouldn't be here for. So I think he's in the right place. We've been looping on the surface of the discussion for several streams now. I think if we move to some kind of practical implication of it, like the crime and punishment conversation, even having a conversation about improving or revising our criminal justice system separate from free will would be, I think, a worthy conversation worth having. So if we want to like bring the free will debate into the crime and punishment domain, I think that would be a good thing to do. And the part about like the kind of like the compatibilist view of acting as though we have free will, like needing to live as though we have it, even though like the technical truth may be otherwise. And Steve and Denizen have both admitted in our original conversation that started this, that in their day-to-day lives, they do experience making choices and having free will. It's only when they take the time to reflect and think themselves into this really kind of abstract, removed, intellectualized perspective that they start to get the clarity that it's not actually free will. Because up till now, yeah, I'll be honest, I'm still not sure I know what the hell they're saying completely, particularly Denizen, because when I try to ask clarifying questions, I get a lot of resistance and pushback and evasion and non-responsiveness. So that's some of the frustration. But I think if we shift the conversation into areas that will make it more concrete and expand it to the compatibilism conversation, I think maybe we can, if not get somewhere, open up some more paths through this wilderness that we could explore. So we can try that next time. And outside of that, have a good day. We'll be hanging out on Discord. You can join us there. Otherwise, we'll be back tomorrow, same time, for the Sabbath. And see what happens then. All right. It's been great. Thanks a lot. Like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. I'm told that if you click the share link and copy the link, you don't actually have to print anywhere. Just the act of copying the link to share credits the algorithm somehow. So, but as usual, what I appreciate most is just all of you showing up and participating. That is really the meat and drink of all of this. Today is Sabbath. Oh, is it the Jewish Sabbath, which is, I guess, is the original Sabbath? Okay. Well, tomorrow's Sunday, so we'll do it again tomorrow, and we'll have some kind of happy Sunday, hopefully. All right. Take care, everyone. Hope I did. No, I don't think you did, Joe. Denizen's kind of a regular lately. And his name, he is Difficult Denizen. It's right there in the name. And you're not seeing anything that I'm not seeing myself. So this is a neurodivergent space, or at least that's one of the purposes of it. And when you start to factor in all the different perceptual and communication anomalies among the neurodivergent, you just have to have a little more patience when working through these kind of topics, I guess. So anyway, bye. Have fun. Do something fun tonight. It's a Saturday. Live it up. Laissez les bon temps rouler. Hey, Dahlia, we're just ending, but we'll be back tomorrow. All right. Take care. Bye. Hell, Satan, or whatever your deity of preference is, or none at all. Just Try to be decent.